All right, here we go. We are live. We are back. It's been a while. This kind of feels weird a little bit, but good to be back here on this channel, going live once again. Dr. Pigskin, the doctor is back in. The stream has not shown up yet on my phone. I'll get it up here in a sec. I keep refreshing. But we've got some Thursday night football here. Some football to watch, some ball to talk. If you haven't seen my tweet, and if you're just joining or maybe you're watching this back, you never know. But I think what I'm going to do this time, since I missed last week, is obviously we're going to be doing a stream for this game, right? That's going to take top priority. But we're also going to be going back and recapping kind of what we missed. So we're going to be going back, looking at these week 5 games. I didn't get the chance to preview them, but we're going to go back, talk some ball, and see what we've learned really from this last week of football. Still is not showing up yet. Hopefully it's like showing up for you guys. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. Tell me what's going on. But I do not see it on my phone right now. So I do apologize if you guys already are in here. I am not able to access it on my phone yet. So I can't see if anyone is in the chat or not. And I can't put it up on Twitter, which apparently some people are having issues with notifications. And they had to have it like sent to them. It's still not showing up for some reason. I am going to check my computer real quick. Yeah, once again, I apologize if you guys are in here right now. I don't know what's going on. Okay, it shows it on my computer. That is so weird. Well, I'll go check and see if anyone's in here. Got one watching right now. It might be me. All right, it's kind of weird hearing myself talk back, but yeah, I don't know what to say. I might be quiet for a second while I try and figure this out. Oh, jeez. If I look up. Oh, here we go. Okay, it's showing up now. Just took a while, I think. Oops. Not download. Copy. Did it get rid of my draft? All right, bear with me one more second here. It's been a while, as you can tell. But I'm sure people will be filing in and out of here. It's a busy time of year, just in general, also in the sports world. There's another game going on right now that I know some of my core audience might be a little bit more fixated on. I will have my eye on that game too. But there's football on. That takes priority over everything. All right, let's get back in here now. All right, there is no one in here. So I'm going to be honest. Until someone comes in here, I'm just going to sit here. Now we got someone in here. I need to turn down the volume. I don't like hearing it play back when like I'm trying to talk, but I can also hear myself from like 5 seconds ago. That's always kind of weird. I don't know if my notifications have been weird or something, because apparently like some people are having trouble with it. And then I put out a post today, like the YouTube community post, right? And like, not to get like full of myself, but usually like at least someone likes it, right? Like usually it gets like at least a few likes. My most liked one was me saying I wasn't going to have a stream all week, which was kind of weird. People were maybe just excited I was going to the game, but that one got 10 likes. But, and I'll double check here. Not that like likes get to my head or anything, but no engagement on this one. So I don't know, like, I mean, maybe I'm just washed, but we shall see. Got Russell Wilson. They're showing him right now. I'm watching the Prime Vision broadcast because I really like it. I like how it sort of gives you that all-22 view. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's one of the better alternate broadcasts, in my opinion. Maybe the best one that they have for NFL. I guess there's the Manning cast. That like some people like that. I get it. I prefer like watching clips of the Manning cast back later. I like it when it focuses more on the game, not to sound like Mr. Purist over here, but I do like the next gen stats broadcast because it still feels like I'm watching the game, but you also get like a different view. It's more like you're at the game, and I like how they highlight all the different players. You know who's on the field. That's gonna be big for me today because I have actually played Prize Picks for the first time in a fat minute. I have one of the sickest, as in sick in the head slips that you will ever see. But if I'm right, oh man, that's gonna be something else. But yeah, we're just here vibing right now. I mean, I'm still talking because there's probably gonna be a recording of this that goes up later. If I'm the only person in here, that's tragic. But it is what it is, right? I don't know. We shall see. You know. But we're getting pretty close to game time here. We're like 9 minutes away. I think it's going to be a closer game than some people. I say that, but then I also have to remind myself that this Chiefs defense is really good. So, I mean, conventional wisdom says the Chiefs blow the Broncos out tonight, which is probably the most likely outcome. I'm trying to talk myself into this game actually being like somewhat entertaining. And who knows, you know, I've seen some weird stuff happen. Is it like, yeah, it's showing up. Tough look for the brand right now. Hey, there we go. Welcome, whoever you are, to the stream. Hope you're having a good Thursday night so far. About to watch some football, divisional rivalry, Broncos Chiefs. I believe the Broncos have not beaten the Chiefs since 2015, which was also a Thursday night game. The Jamal Charles fumble game. The Broncos have not beaten the Chiefs since Peyton Manning was their quarterback, which is just crazy because that, in some ways, it doesn't feel like a while ago because Peyton Manning is just such a big figure in the NFL, but it's been a minute since he's played. I mean, I was a freshman in high school the last time Manning took a snap in the league. But that's the last time that the Broncos have beaten the Chiefs. Like, they haven't even gotten, like, one. Like, no, like, trap game. There's been a few close games. I think last year, right, when they played last year at the end of the season, the post-Nathaniel Hackett game where Russ looked pretty good, that was a close game. But, yeah, nothing. Also, wasn't Patrick Mahomes' first career start against the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken? Final game of the 2017 regular season? I think it was. So the Broncos, in a way, ushered in the Mahomes era. But yeah, if you're watching, you don't know. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I do like Mahomes, but if you can't tell, Vikings fan, tough season so far. Tough loss. I was at that game against the Chiefs last week, actually. It was a good time. It was a fun game to be at, but another disappointing result, man. Seems to be a common theme for the Vikings this season so far. Pretty much every loss, you've walked out thinking, man, like they could have won that game if things bounced their way. But, as everyone likes to remind us, well, you could have said the opposite about last year, which is totally fair. Regression is a funny thing, isn't it? All right, we're about to get started. We've got 3 people in here. I'm going to show this prize pick slip I have. I recognize I'm taking a bit of a swing here. It's been a minute since I've played prize picks, let alone since I've won. And we're leading things off with Brandon Johnson over 10.5 receiving yards. So, Sean Payton's Broncos, they like to spread the ball around a little bit. There have been, a few games where Russ has completed passes to like 9, 10 different receivers, something like that. I've seen that stat before. And what if I told you that Brandon Johnson is actually one of the skill players that sees the field the most for Denver? Now, he doesn't always get like a high volume of targets, but he is, I believe, 4th amongst their skill players in snaps taken, like passing snaps taken. So he's on the field a decent amount, and yeah, this Chiefs defense is good, but it's 11 yards, right? I believe he's hit that a few times already. I think he had like a 66-yard game not that long ago. Also, you have to be a little bit more specific with a name like Brandon Johnson, I guess. That is totally fair. So, I mean, yeah, he's 8 catches for 122 on the season. That's like a game's worth. But yeah, there's a 66-yarder in there. Even against Miami, right? 12 yards. Guess what? That's enough. So it is a bit of a swing. He had 9 yards last week, so that would be a brutal beat if he did that again. Again, a bit risky because the targets are not always there, but he is consistently seeing the field, right? And you know what? This is $7.50 I put down, so we're going to get a little bit wacky with it. I also like Russ to hit the over. Again, I recognize this Chiefs defense is very, very good, but odds are Denver will probably be playing from behind, and Russell Wilson has been pretty good this season, contrary to what Mike Greenberg might say. I don't know if you guys saw, but a few days ago he's saying like, oh, this is the worst Russell Wilson has played in his career. It's really not, because I think we can all agree last year was obviously much worse, and he's actually been pretty good this year. In my group chat with my friends, they asked for top 10 quarterbacks the other day when I was driving back, and I almost put Russell Wilson in there. Well, I actually did for a second. I forgot that Matthew Stafford existed, but he was in there. Doing the anthem right now. We're about to get started. I got Pacheco as well for the over, 78 rushing yards. That's a decently high number, but Pacheco's a good back, great run blocking line, and this Denver run defense is just atrocious. It is terrible. It is so bad. DVOA has them as the worst run defense in the NFL, and again, like, this is a small sample size, and DVOA is not a perfect stat. It's one of the like advanced team stats that like measures success rate relative to the league. But through 5 weeks, Denver has the worst rush defense DVOA of all time. And I mean, you have to remember, this is a team that like gave up 70 to the Dolphins, and their ground game was just going crazy. The Jets last week went crazy on the ground against them. Breece Hall had a monster game. So I don't think 78 yards is extraordinary for Pacheco to get against this defense. And I think they might run the ball a lot with a weaker receiving core and a limited Kelsey. Then we've got Justin Watson, over 1.5 catches. This one is literally just, it's a small number, and I have a good feeling about it. There's not much thought that I put into this. He sees the field a decent amount too. I always like looking at those snap counts. How much are they seeing the field? He's going to be out there, right? And if you're sharing the field with Patrick Mahomes, there's a chance. I like this just because it's a low number. Literally, he could get 2 catches first drive. Boom, we're set. He's got it. And then another one. I mean, sometimes I overthink when it comes to these bets, right? So I get a little too crazy. Travis Kelsey, touchdown. I mean, that one's pretty straightforward. He's scored in the last few games. T Swift is in the building. Not that matters. But also, like, I don't know, they just might get him the ball. Chiefs throw inside the 5-yard line more than any other team. At least they did last year. They seem to still do it a lot this year. I don't have the exact number, but I don't think that this is crazy. All this put together is kind of crazy, but for $7.50, that's a bet I'm willing to make. That's not ridiculous, in my opinion. It's something to make this game a little bit more interesting. But we've got this pulled up too. We'll be talking about these games. We'll see. And then of course we've got this. Not that it really matters, because I don't want it to be spoiled for me. I learned that the hard way with the London game. But yeah. At a commercial right now. Let's check in on this game too. I've got my eye on this game for reasons. I'm a big baseball fan. I had my heart ripped out last night. That was tough. Tough loss to the The Astros. Twins fan, obviously. But it was a good season. We broke the streak. We won the division. We gave the Astros a fight in the playoffs. Can't ask for much more, can ya? So, yeah, can't complain about that. Also, if there's anyone, like, if for the two people that are in here, like, I don't know, like, if y'all just want to, like, say hi or something, because I am not, like, oh, it's been acting weird. I saw my stream got sent in one chat, so I'm assuming maybe someone is watching, but I don't know if, like, chat's just not working. I don't know. I'm definitely overthinking this, but game is technically supposed to start by now. It's 8:15, but usually, like, that's never a perfect time. There we go. All right, we've got Gabe in here. Welcome to the stream, Gabe. Yeah, it's something right now. We've got Broncos primetime football. Clearly not a big draw, but we're about to get started. Then we can have something else to talk about, not just sitting here. But how have you been so far, Gabe? How was work today? Tampa been keeping you busy, I'm assuming, enjoying their bye week. They're going to be pulling out the creamsicles. That's going to be a fun game. Be previewing that one Sunday morning. The Conflict of Interest Bowl, as I've always liked to say. Your favorite team versus your employer. It was busy, I'm sure, man. With creamsicle week coming up, yeah. I've seen a lot of like creamsicle related content that like ESPN has reposted. I'm curious how much of that you're behind. Like, I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was like something from like the 70s, I think, when the Buccaneers first started wearing them. Like, oh, what the world was like back then. But yeah, I'm curious, like, how much of a role you play in that, because I gotta say, like, I've seen a lot of Bucks content on my feed recently, and I'm sure that's got to be a good feeling for the Tampa social department. They are beautiful. They are some of my favorite uniforms in the NFL, I gotta say. It's so funny because they used to be associated with terrible football for so long, but man, they look nice. Also, this is my Prize Picks slip. I don't know if you're in here for when I gave that spiel. It is it is something. It's a gamble, to say the least. I took some big swings, but you know what? I'm feeling it. Brandon Johnson's going to get 11 yards on the first drive, baby. Let's go. Well, we're going to take it back to the big camera here now. Get a nice full view. There's Travis Kelce hitting his head, running around pregame. Man, I got to tell you, as someone that has never played against Patrick Mahomes, and by someone I mean a Vikings fan, until Sunday, dude, it's so annoying playing against him. Oh, my gosh. Every time you think you've got him wrapped up, he just gets out of there. And the Vikings actually got a decent amount of pressure on him. They blitzed Mahomes. I saw it was the highest blitz rate he'd ever faced in his career. And the Vikings got home a few times. Their defense played a pretty good game, in my opinion. But, man, there were just a few plays where it's just like, how do you even, like, get out of that? I don't know. Walmart Bag is in here. He says Zach sucks. Zach kind of go crazy. I'm assuming you're referring to Zach Wilson. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm mostly digital. One of my good friends, Zach, does a great job with the social departments. And then Walmart Bag says Zach sucks. Well, that's, hey, we don't know Zach. I'm sure Zach is a wonderful guy. Mostly digital, though. That's sick. I suppose. So by digital, you mean YouTube, I'm going to take it. But yeah, the Buccaneers social media department has been going off. But here we go. All right, it's time for some football, finally. Man, good to be back watching Thursday Night Football. I haven't been able to do this the past few weeks due to work, but no work tonight. We've got Prime Vision on. We've got our water. Broncos got the ball, first play. And it's going to be McLaughlin up the middle. Okay. Interesting. So McLaughlin gets the first snaps for Denver here. I have Javonte Williams in fantasy. And he's been all right at best so far, to put it kindly. I don't know. The Broncos' rushing attack has been a little bit disappointing. But there's Javonte. He's back in now. I don't see Brandon Johnson out on the field right now. They're going to give it to the fullback for the first down as we welcome Christine to the stream. Christine says Zach is welcome to the stream, Christine. How you doing? How was work today? I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but how was the rest of your shift? Walmart says, please commentate because I'm driving and need to hear this upset. Well, I got you. I will try my best to take you through play-by-play here. We've got some more people filing in now. We got 5 in here. All right, so it's a fresh set of downs now for the Broncos. 3 different backs on the first 3 snaps for Denver. Samaje Perine out there now. Quick completion to McDuffie. Of course, we've got the Russell Wilson over passing yards, so that definitely helps the ticket, right? $7.50 if it hits. $75, and we're going crazy, baby. Christine is a G. Yes, she is. Shout out Christine. She is part of the bedrock of this channel. Honestly, she has had a hand in so many things, from the channel logo to helping me record to even helping me with some stats, you know. So she really makes this go. As Judy gets wrapped up in the backfield, that's going to be a loss. Same old, same old. Well, glad to see that you're settling into a bit of a routine, though. That's always good to hear. Gabe, you're edgy. Look at this. Look at these positive vibes in chat right now. Love it. They're showing a close-up of Russell Wilson's, play sheet right now, I think. Interesting. It was, blurred, so you couldn't really, see it. But I don't know if the Broncos might like that. Just having their play sheet shown on TV. I don't know how much of it you can actually read, but I don't know. I could just picture Sean Payton seeing that tomorrow and crossing his arms or something. But what's going on with Jerry Jeudy? Seeing trade rumors like crazy. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that after this 3rd and 2. There have been a lot of whispers. I'll say that. They're going to run it, and, ooh, nice second effort by Javonte. He was wrapped up for a loss there. Keeps the legs churning. That's that power that I've wanted to see from Javonte Williams. I still believe in him as a talented runner. Look at that. They had this wrapped up right here. They had him dead to rights in the backfield. Good job to get penetration by this Chiefs defense, but 2 defensive backs, not enough to bring him down there. Well, actually, no, that's Nick Bolton, the linebacker. And Javonte just keeps on churning. There's Brandon Johnson, bottom of the screen, number 89. Come on, dude. They're going to hand it off again to Javonte. Why not? Yeah, Denver likes to rotate their backs. I mean, they like to rotate everyone. I think it's still 3. I think it's just been Javonte, Perine, and McLaughlin. But with Jerry Jeudy, a lot of trade rumors. I mean, he's just never really lived up to expectations in Denver, with a couple of different quarterbacks, couple of different play callers now, and he still just isn't quite doing much there. I think he's a solid receiver. Hindsight is 2020, him being drafted that high is tough, but you couldn't have known at the time. He was such a polished prospect coming out of college. Alabama always produces great wide receivers, but he just hasn't been super good, which kind of sounds mean, but he's been very average. So I could see a change of scenery maybe benefiting him, going to a different team, playing with a different quarterback, a different role in the offense maybe. There still might be something there. We've seen flashes from him, but I wouldn't hate a trade for Jerry Jeudy. I think that's where a lot of the rumors are coming from, is that he just hasn't really caught on, and this Denver team is probably going to be selling at the trade deadline. And Russ, he escapes. Vintage rush. Look at that. Troutman is not going to get the first down. Tough. Oh, good job, though, to buy some time. That's classic Russell Wilson right there. Getting out, getting the pass off. Man, that's a play he wasn't getting out of last year. Pressure came quick. Look at him get out. The crowd is loud, so they might be going for it here. We'll see. They're just short. I mean, why not, dude? You're going up against the Chiefs on the road. It's 4th and short. You got nothing to lose at this point, right? This is a rivalry game. You're just trying to mess up your rival's season. Yeah, go for it. Here we go. I saw your question, Walmart bag, by the way. I will get to that in a second. Looks like we got a timeout. But honestly, seeing that question, I genuinely wonder if I know you because that is such a random player, and I have a story about Patrick Laird. I'll say that. My opinion on Patrick Laird is that he can be a very dangerous back. He can cook when given the opportunity. Good old Patrick Laird. Yeah, man, that is a name I've not thought about in a while. When's the last time Patrick Laird was in the league even? I'm referring to Patrick Laird when he was on the Dolphins, of course. Is he on the Bucks? No way. No, he last played in 2021 in Miami. But yeah, Patrick Laird cooked me in Madden one day. That's what I'll say. All right, here we go. 4th and 3. Big play, baby. What are they going to do? They're probably going to pass it, right? They've got 3 receivers to the left, including Brandon Johnson. Ross running out of time. He's going to escape again. No one's open. No one's open. Down he goes. Oh, that's just on Denver's receivers there, man. You get that much time, someone's got to get open. He had like 8 seconds. Russ did what he could there. Oh, man. Uh-oh, doctor, double check your work. Is he on the Bucks? Did he like just get signed by the Bucks? It shows him on the Buccaneers website. Pro Football Reference showed that he hadn't played since 2021. But it does show him on the Buccaneers website. Am I crazy? Okay, ESPN says Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back. Did they like just sign him? Interesting. Well, the doctor's been caught lacking. He did not double check his work. Banged in a big spot. That's tough. Yeah, Wikipedia, running back for the Buccaneers. When did he sign with Tampa? Did this just happen? Oh, he's on the practice squad. Okay. Well, there you go. Pro Football Reference is a fraud. Hey, don't speak badly about my king. I say king referring to a website. It shows him there. Okay, fair enough. I guess he just hasn't played, but he's still in the league. Good for Patrick Laird. That is my opinion on Patrick Laird. The long answer to that question. But, all right, commercial break. Let's talk about last week's Thursday night game. A game that I watched a little bit of. I had to work, as I'd mentioned earlier, but I caught part of the first quarter, some of the second quarter, and then I had to go to bed because I had an early morning to get to Fargo the next day. That involved me waking up at 3:30 in the morning so I can catch my flight. And I still almost missed it. That's a fun story. Security was bad, I'll say that. But the Bears, 2 weeks in a row now, they've got an offense. This time they actually win. Coming off a crushing loss to Denver. An embarrassment of a choke. They're up 28-7 and they blow it. Right? Justin Fields comes out looking great. They come back and they smoke the Commanders in primetime. Justin Fields with another pretty good game. And you know what? It's kind of crazy what happens when you get DJ Moore the ball, isn't it? I mean, they gave up the first overall pick to get him. And the ideal was that he'd help Justin Fields develop. They'd get a legit, serious number 1 receiver in the building. And isn't it kind of crazy? The past 2 weeks, this offense has looked pretty good. And DJ Moore, back-to-back weeks, seeing the most targets he's seen all season. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Obviously, you can't expect this every game, but more on this in a sec because the game is back. But yeah, DJ Moore is pretty good. It's kind of crazy what happens when you get him the ball. Here's Pacheco to start things off for the Chiefs. I expect to see a lot of Pacheco today. Talked about it pregame. This Denver run defense has been historically bad through the first 5 weeks. And maybe some of it is an outlier due to that Miami game, but also not really because they got shredded again last week on the ground. Gabe says, Jimmy G is my king. You know, he's my king too. We'll talk about Jimmy G in a little bit. All he does is win, man. All he does is win. He knows nothing else but winning. Here's Pacheco again. Look at Pacheco run. I love the way he runs. You want to talk about a violent runner. I told this to my dad when we were watching the game last week, right? To anyone that's seen Ted Lasso in here, right? The scene where Nate is like roasting the Richmond locker room, and he's telling Roy Kent, like, you used to run like you were angry at the grass. That's how Pacheco runs. He runs like he's angry at the grass. He's awesome. He's a throwback. They don't make too many backs like Pacheco anymore. I love his game. Justin Watson's out. Let's go. Need 2 catches from him. Instead, they're going to go to Kelsey. Oh, he's going to pitch it back. They're going to get the first down. It's the tight end to tight end pitch. Kelsey to Noah Gray. That's genius. With Kelsey being limited, maybe his ability after the catch isn't as great. You don't want to like risk injury too much, right? He's still a guy that'll find the hole in the defense, get open. Look at that. They get a few extra yards. They save Kelsey's body a little bit. Now, they're probably not going to do that every time they throw to Kelsey, but that plants a seed. That plants a seed. That's crazy. Kelsey with the pitch. Hey, throwback to Payne Hall against the Lions, 2019. If you know, you know. Kelsey with the pitch. Here's Mahomes with all day. Kelsey gets crushed. He makes another catch. So that's 2 targets, 2 catches now for Travis Kelsey. Again, he got injured last week. Ended up coming back in, firing up the crowd. Now, what I'm about to say is I say it with respect because he's still obviously an elite player. But this year is kind of the first year you can maybe see Travis Kelsey like decline just a little bit. He just looks a little bit slower out there as they'll give to Pacheco again. Look at him. Be patient. Wait for the blocks. That's smart running right there. That's the sign of a smart running back. That's beautiful. Wait for those blockers to get in front of you. You don't need to hit it 100 miles per hour right away. Gets the first down. But that being said, like Travis Kelsey with 70% speed is still probably the best tight end in the NFL. So, I mean, how much does it really matter? But with a depleted wide receiver room, maybe a little bit. But so far, ooh, good play right there to break that up. Looking for Kadarius Toney. McMillan there breaking it up. But, yeah. Laterals need to be used more in the NFL. You know, that could be an interesting conversation. If you like designed more plays for laterals to try and maximize yards after catch, right? Like imagine if the Dolphins incorporated laterals into their offense. Imagine Jalen Waddle like getting the ball, and as soon as he's about to go down, like it's designed so he'll get it to Tyreek Hill, who will then have a few blockers of his own, right? These speedy offenses to try and maximize those hidden yards. That's a conversation to be had. You'd really have to really sit down and design it well, but I see some flag football talk. I mean, I feel like that's a flag football concept that maybe you could bring to life in the NFL. I don't know how regularly you could use it, but I'm surprised we don't see at least one lateral a game unless it's desperation. I'm surprised we don't see more plays like that, even if it's just once a game. What are my thoughts on the Dolphins? I'll get to that in a sec. That one batted down. But my thoughts on the Dolphins. They are a very good team, and Buffalo game notwithstanding, have shown that they can win in many different ways, and that's something that I've praised them for all season. They've won a few ugly games where they've leaned more on their rushing attack. They've won shootouts where they've thrown for almost 500 yards. The defense will still probably get better. Remember, their best player on defense is not playing for them yet. Jalen Ramsey will be back. That's got to be exciting. The talent is there on defense. This is their first year under new coordinator. At this point, you hope that maybe some of the hiccups and learning curves start to go away, but, I would not be shocked if, hey, you know what, this Dolphins defense plays their best football later on in the season, and we haven't seen their defense at full strength yet. Achane getting hurt stinks. Hopefully it's not too bad. I don't think he's going to the IR, so it's just kind of be a week-to-week thing. He has been so much fun with this rushing attack that they've really revitalized. To me, that's been one of the most impressive things about the Dolphins. Yeah, it's easy to get excited about Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Tua's development, and all that's been great, right? Their passing game has been awesome. But to me, just as important, and also maybe just as, if not more surprising, is how far their run game has gone. Pre-Mike McDaniel, this was one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL. The line was not very good, and it was just an uninspiring rotation of like Salvin Ahmed and Myles Gaskin and the aforementioned Patrick Laird. And I mean, they just had one of the worst rushing attacks in the league. Mike McDaniel comes in, and they immediately become like solid, like not amazing. And now, like let's look up where the Dolphins rank in team rushing yards this season. I'd imagine it's pretty high because Mostert and Achane and Jeff Wilson even have just been melting people. I mean, it has been awesome. So you have to give a lot of credit to Mike McDaniel, to some of the offensive linemen that they've brought in, and the running backs. I mean, it's just all around, it's been a good job turning this rushing attack around. Back when this channel was called Necessary Roughness, right? I've got a video in the archives, right? Old video. I talked about the head coaching hires. Mike McDaniel was one of them. And I said one of the upsides was he might turn this rushing attack around. Look at this. I'm gonna switch my screen here so you guys can see this. The Dolphins lead the NFL in rushing yards by a decent margin. They have over 100 more yards than the Eagles. And then after that, it's the 49ers who are in the 700s. They're averaging 185 yards per game on the ground. 2 years, I wonder what this was 2 years ago, pre-Mike McDaniel. Where were they? Look at this. Third to last. 92 yards per game. They have increased by almost 100 yards per game. And last year, they were like solid, I feel like. Where did they rank? Maybe they were a little lower. Okay, a slight improvement. But still, that to me has been such a big improvement. That is why this Dolphins team looks as good as it does, because they are not one-dimensional. And to me, that is just something I stress so much, right? You cannot be one-dimensional and win. That's why the Vikings are 1-4 right now. They're one-dimensional. That's why the Bills have struggled in the past, but I'm higher on them now because I don't view them as a one-dimensional team. The Chiefs are not one-dimensional. They beefed up their offensive line. They've got a power back in Pacheco. They use a lot of 2, even 3 tight end sets. So that is something that really excites me about the Dolphins. Yeah, the passing game is awesome. It's always been awesome. But the running game has been unbelievable. And when you can win both ways, with the talent and the speed that they have on this offense, it's hard to stop. It's really hard to stop. They broke 30 points on Sunday, and it felt like they underachieved. Here's Javonte, big run up the middle. All right. Nearing Chief territory already. That was a good stand by the Broncos defense, a much maligned unit, to hold the Chiefs to 3 there, force a field goal. Right, you get the ball back. Now you've got a chance to either tie it up or take the lead. Good start there. Good run from Javonte. He's looking good so far. Pear Champ is back in here. Welcome back, Pear Champ. He says, hey, how's it going, man? Hope your week has been good. It has been good. It's been a little busy, but you know what? You can't complain, right? We're just another week closer to graduation. We're getting stuff done, taking care of business. It's been not as busy school-wise as Russell Wilson throws a bad pick to Nick Bolton. Oh, Nick Bolton saw that one coming all the way. Man, I was praising Russell Wilson a little bit earlier. That's a bad interception. Oh, Nick Bolton, right place, right time. Let's watch this back. Yeah, I mean, that's too easy. Nick Bolton is a player that there's some interesting discourse around him. I've got my own Nick Bolton take. Man, oh, that's tough. I should probably clarify that now because some people might be curious. So, Nick Bolton. There's an interesting discussion about him because I feel like half football fans think, oh, Nick Bolton's a great player, right? Some of his stats look pretty good. He plays for the Chiefs. He makes some big plays. And then there's this other half that's like, well, actually, right, like maybe on a down-to-down basis, he's not as great. He can get beat in coverage sometimes. Sometimes he gets beat in the run game. Like he's a little inconsistent. He's not a perfect player. This is maybe not like a perfect analogy, but almost, and I know there's maybe some Tampa Bay people in here. I don't mean to disrespect, and that's why I'm going to clarify. I actually think this is a good thing, but he's almost like a Devin White type player where he will make some big plays, but he will also get beat. Now, in my opinion, I think that's perfectly okay, especially on a good defense. You kind of need those guys that are going to make big plays, maybe a big stop in the run game, a big tackle for loss, or an interception or a forced fumble. Even if they sometimes get beat, you kind of need that because with how good offenses are now in the NFL, you can't win every down. It's practically impossible. You don't see defenses coming out here like the 2000 Ravens just like holding teams to like 10 points a game. Turnovers are so important on defense. That's another reason why some teams like the Vikings have not been winning. They have not been able to force takeaways. So if you're the Chiefs, you might live with Nick Bolton getting beat occasionally if he makes plays like that. Or if you're the Bucs, you might live with Devin White getting beat sometimes if he makes a big play. So that's my Nick Bolton take. I think he is a good player. I think some people overrate him and some people underrate him. But me, Mr. Knowledge, nuance, I have him in the middle. Crazy take, right? But that's my Nick Bolton speech. I'd actually been waiting to share that speech for a while. That's what I love about this channel. I will just I could be walking to class and I will go off on a tangent about Nick Bolton, and now I have an audience to share it with. But yeah, hope everyone in here is doing well. It's always good to see you back in here, Pear Champ. Just waiting for anything but Clicks and Ted to show up. And then we've got the squad and mile marker. Mahomes, deep shot to Kelsey. Kelsey wide open. He's still going. Now he's going to get out of bounds. Man, 3 catches so far for Travis Kelsey. He is getting fed, and there it is. The first Taylor Swift shot of the night. Oh, we should have came up with a game for that or something. There's a flag down. Mahomes is gesturing like it's on the Broncos. It is. But there we go. Taylor Swift sighting number 1. Al Michaels said earlier, they're going to be moderate with how much they show Taylor Swift. He said something about he doesn't want the sideshow to become the main show. I think that's kind of funny. I could totally picture Al Michaels making some comment and there's Taylor Swift and all the frenzy that she brings and the hoopla. Strange world we live in. Go back into the game, but I love Al Michaels. I say that with love. He's a funny guy. He cracks me up. But here we go. Chiefs in the red zone now. They give it to Tony on the end around, and not much doing there. Denver was ready for that one. Hats off to the corner there, staying home, not break and contain. Is that McMillan again? Yeah, good game for him so far. That's just a sound play. You don't get too excited when you see the end around. You stay home. You play your gap. Boom. Tackle for loss. Good play. How's fantasy going for me? You're 4-1, third most points in your league. Good job, Pear Champ. That's what you like to see. Hey, Jamar Chase, right? You have Jamar Chase on your team. What'd I tell you? Be patient with Jamar Chase. How about Jamar Chase last week? What a game from him. He's back. The Bengals might be back. There's Pacheco. But how is fantasy going for me? Well, I'm in 5 leagues, so there's a lot to keep track of. I would say my overall record, if I had to combine all 5 of my teams, I'm probably slightly above 500. The biggest mistake I might have made was for running backs, putting all my eggs in the basket of James Conner and Miles Sanders. I was like, I'm gonna take these guys in the 5th and 6th round, and they're gonna sneak into the top 20. James Conner's been solid, but he's hurt. And Miles Sanders has been a disappointment, just like the rest of the Panthers. But Cooper Kupp is back, so that's a positive development. That should help. I have Kelsey in one of my leagues. Clearly, he's doing well so far. Is Mahomes? Oh, Mahomes floats at the Justin Simmons. What? What? What the heck happened? Oh my goodness. He just I don't know if he got hit when he threw that. That was a duck. Is he just trying to force it? I mean, it was right in the breadbasket of Justin Simmons. The Broncos get the ball back. They're kicking and screaming. They're not going down just yet. Man, the Chiefs could be up like 14-0 right now. Denver's hanging around. It's still early, but like, hey, if you're Denver, you're hanging around. Go get some points here. Man, a Brian Branch moment. Yeah. Safety intercepting Mahomes on an uncharacteristic mistake. Man. But yeah, Jamar popped off for 40 points. Good to see, right? Fun player. This Bengals team, maybe they've got some juice back. Knocking off the Cardinals. Let's switch cameras, though, here, and I guess we'll just wrap up what we were talking about earlier with the Bears-Commanders game. But, yeah, they have made it a focal point to get DJ Moore involved, and my opinion is that is a good thing. And you know what? The Bears play the Vikings next week in Chicago. Minnesota doesn't have Justin Jefferson. That might be a close game. That's what I'm going to say. The Commanders, Sam Howell. The Commanders have a Sam Howell pocket presence problem. I won't go as far to say as they have a Sam Howell problem, because I do think Sam Howell does a few things well. He's not afraid to let it rip. He has a pretty good arm. He can kind of move and create a little bit. I say this with love because I love the way he plays, but Sam Howell does not have pocket presence whatsoever. He is on pace to be the most sacked quarterback of all time. And just watching this Commanders team, it's abundantly clear that a lot of that falls on him. He holds on to the ball so long. Look at this. 4 sacks is the lowest number so far this season. 6, 4, 9, 5, 5. He has been sacked 29 times. There is not an offensive line in the league that is that bad. You cannot put it all on the line. I'm a big believer that sacks is just as much of a QB stat as it is a line stat. And, I would have to go on PFF and look at the pressure to sack rate, which, you know what? I actually have the privilege to go do that. So I'm going to go do that right now. I will pull that up here in a sec. But, man, that is a legit problem for this team. That and their secondary. We'll talk about that more at the next commercial break. We're going to be hopping back and forth. I want to stay focused on the game. That's the main attraction. But just as a reminder myself, next commercial break, we're going to talk about Sam Howell's lack of pocket presence and the secondary problem that the Commanders have on an otherwise good-looking defense. But that has been their problem so far. Here you go, Denver. Here's a chance to maybe, take the crowd out of it a little bit. Right? If you even get a field goal here, this Chiefs offense has been kind of slogging through. I don't want to say slogging through. They've had a few good games, but it does not have the same vibe around it. This is definitely more of a defensive team. If you even tie this game up, the fans, you might be thinking, oh, man, here we go again. Another ugly rock fight. Did the ball come out? Did McLaughlin cough it up? Kansas City's gesturing like they've got the ball. The referees aren't doing a whole lot. Oh, it's Chief ball. It's Chief ball. Denver coughed it up. They gave it right back. No one wants to score. They're like, you know what? No, you take the ball, please. He's down. Okay, he's down. He's clearly down, right? Watch this, right? The forearm of the... Oh, well, okay, that angle. But the other angle showed... the other angle looked like his arm was down. Maybe it wasn't. Because that other angle looked like, oh, yeah, the ball was out for sure. All turnovers are reviewed, but the turnovers are just killer. Okay, yeah, they changed it. 3rd and 1. But still, oh, man. There's not a chance he's back out on the field now for this play. There's not a chance Sean Payton is letting him see the field. He might be back in the game later, but get Javonte in there. Also, Javante's been running well so far, so maybe just, feed him the ball anyways, fumble or not. Look at this heavy set. 2 tight ends. They're just going to sneak it with Russ. He's got it, right? No tush push or brotherly shove there. Which I've come to accept, you know what, it should be a part of the game. The Eagles are just so much better at it than everyone else. Probably because they have a Hall of Fame center and a QB that can squat 600 pounds. Other teams have tried. It's just not nearly as successful when they do it. So I respect it. All right, fresh set of downs for Denver. Here we go. Make it happen, Captain. Now they go from heavy personnel to like 5 wide. Here's Judy. Not much. I mean, Judy's a decent separator. I think he's an all right route runner. He has some nice crisp routes. He has some that'll like jump out on highlight reels. Some of the advanced numbers suggest that maybe he's an all right route runner. Not bad. Like, I'm not calling him bad by any means. He just hasn't offered much juice after the catch or taking the top off of a defense. I don't know. I had high hopes for him. And maybe he just needs a change of scenery. There's McLaughlin again. Man, I got to take a look at these snap counts for like the Denver running backs because they have been spreading the wealth in the backfield. I'll admit, this is the first full-on Broncos game that I've sat down and watched. Like, I've watched bits and parts of Broncos games, whether it's on Red Zone or I'll go back and watch I'll see, how did Russ do today, right? But I've not watched a full Broncos game yet. So this is interesting to observe. See how exactly the Sean Payton offense is working in the context of a full game. But I'm looking right now. So, yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin, he's been seeing a decent amount of work. 22 carries on 25 snaps coming into this game. Javonte leads the way. But he's gotten just as much work as Pirine has. That's interesting. Then they've got Michael Burton, their fullback. All right, interesting. Well, I see some questions here. I will get to them in a sec as I pull this up. Actually, I can multitask. So first, can I rank the Alabama wide receivers in the NFL that have come into the league within the last 10 years? And then Pearchamp asks, Adam Thielen has been pretty solid for me in fantasy. Do you have any fantasy players that surprised you? Both excellent questions. I will get to both of them. First one I'm going to do is the Alabama one because first come, first serve. Let's go to our trusty friends, Pro Football Reference, perhaps. I'll pull my screen up too. And Alabama NFL players. I'm trying to think of like the names off the top of my head. I mean, the obvious one is Julio, right? He's got to be the best. But there have been some other good ones. Jalen Waddle's the other one I think of. He might be number 2, honestly. If you know me, you know I really like Jalen Waddle. All right, we're gonna sort by position here. We're gonna pull up the old computer screen. This is all time. I'll try my best to like filter through. I'm sure there's a way I can filter it more, but I don't want to right now. All right, so Jamison Williams, there's a name. We haven't seen much of him yet. Of course. Oh, Amari Cooper, that's a good call. We have seen some Jamison Williams. Interesting team that they chose to feature him against. Devontae Smith, duh, okay. Ooh, is Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle too? That's an interesting question. So I will say this. Julio is one pretty easily. I'm actually going to go Amari Cooper too. If you're going to talk about overall career, I'm going to go Amari Cooper. He has been very consistent ever since he's come into the league. He's been a good wide receiver. Amari Cooper in Dallas was different, man. That's got to be one of the more frustrating moves the Cowboys have made. And hindsight is 2020, and they were trying to save money. But Dallas trading away Amari Cooper, man, he and Dak were special. I mean, look at this 9-game stretch he had with them when he first got traded. He was awesome. And he had some other good years for them, too. He was good in Cleveland last year, too, with Jacoby Brissett. Still trying to find his footing a little bit. I'm going to say Amari Cooper, too. So Julio 1, Amari Cooper 2. Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, those have got to be 3 and 4. What order? I might go Devontae Smith at this point. Oh, they stop him on 3rd and short. They tackle the fullback Burton in the backfield. Man, Denver. They just can't get out of their own way. That's so tough. But yeah, I will go Devontae 3. It's close because I really do like Waddle, but I think Devontae might have surpassed him. He's just so smooth. He's such a pure receiver. This is going to sound crazy, and obviously I don't mean that he's as good as this player, but honestly, Devontae Smith's game reminds me of Jerry Rice. Again, I recognize he is not Jerry Rice, but the way they play, the way they operate is similar, in my opinion. So, high praise, I know, but I would say Devontae 3, Jalen Waddle 4. I love me some Jalen Waddle. He's more than just a burner. He's great after the catch. He's a good route runner. He can high point the ball very well. He's not just a one-trick pony. He's a great receiver. Calvin Ridley at 5. And again, that one's tough too because Calvin Ridley is a really good receiver. I could get talked into putting Ridley above Waddle. I won't though, but it's close. It is close. That is tough. You know what? No, I am going to put Ridley at 4. Smith at 3, Ridley at 4, Waddle at 5. But that just speaks to how much wide receiver talent Alabama has produced. That's a good question, though. So that'll be my top 5. And then, from there, I almost might say Jamison Williams over Jerry Jeudy because I really liked J-Mo out of college. And we're going to get to see him now finally in a high-powered offense. But that's just, that's kind of an upside pick. Pacheco, not much doing there. And then Jeudy, and then Mechie. I love John Mechie. What a great story. The fact that he's playing in the NFL, that's awesome. We love John Mechie on this channel. Hit the celebration in honor of John Mechie. And Pearchamp with a great question, asking about fantasy, some players that have surprised me. I'm going to pull up some fantasy scores here. I'm trying to think of guys off the top of my head. Thielen is a great call because as a Vikings fan that watched him last year, I was not expecting much, but he has been a good option so far. He's been like the only guy that can really produce on this team. The Panthers, that is. But if we look at this 2023 season, Puka Nakua's got to be another one, right? Coming out of nowhere. Even with Kupp back, he's still been good. I feel like that's got to be a pretty safe answer, right? Puka Nakua being a higher scorer than Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Achan's been great. He's hurt now, so that might hurt his value a little bit. But, look at Brock Purdy being one of the top scorers even. So there's been a few surprises. Kyron Williams is another one. Sam Laporta, yeah, the top scoring tight end in fantasy, Sam Laporta. Zach Moss. There's always like these names that just come out of nowhere. I'm surprised how much of the workload DeAndre Swift has gotten, so that's been a surprise for me for sure. Yeah, I'm surprised with how much of the workload McCaffrey has gotten, to be honest. I advised staying away from him because I thought, it might be like 60-40 split. Nope. And a full workload McCaffrey with the 49ers is going to be good. So I think those have been some surprises for sure. Been a weird fantasy year, but it always is it not? But yeah, good question, Pearchamp. Appreciate it. And yeah, good call on Sam Laporta. I would not have thought of him if you didn't shout him out. That's a good one. Mahomes with time, a flag is down. That's got to be a hold, right? He's just throwing it up. Man, it was a free play. Is that Ronnie Perkins? Oh, man, Gabe, I don't know if you remember this. I was obsessed with Ronnie Perkins during the 2021 NFL draft. I wanted the Vikings to take him so bad as it's actually another penalty on Taylor. That is tough. He's on pace to be like the most penalized lineman in history or something like that. He's already like in the double digits for penalties, which is crazy. But they showed Ronnie Perkins originally. I don't know if someone messed up the graphic or if it canceled out or what, but Ronnie Perkins. Is he on the Broncos now? But yeah, I was obsessed with Ronnie Perkins. I wanted the Vikings to draft him like in the 3rd round so bad. And then he went to the Patriots, and I was like, that's it. They're winning the division. Clyde up the middle. We don't see much of him. We haven't seen much of him so far. Good old Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Pearchamp says, I got Brock Purdy as my backup QB. I'm actually surprised people didn't expect Brock Purdy to be a top 10 QB. Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I think for me personally, coming into the season at least, based off what I saw from Purdy last year, I kind of thought, life is good in the Shanahan offense with all those great players, right? maybe he'll regress a little bit. And that elbow injury terrified me. So I think maybe that's why people were down on him a little bit. That's why I kind of was. Also, let's watch Mahomes. Oh, good throw to Kelsey. There's the duo again. 3rd and 8. Mahomes buys time, and that's all they need to find Kelsey. We are so blessed. I know, it sounds like it's borderline worship, but we are so blessed to watch this man play football. Look at that. Pocket collapses. Rushers closing in. All right, I'm going to get away that extra second. Oh, there's my old pal Kelsey. I know, I sound like Tony Romo right now. Like, oh, there's my old pal Kelsey. But, oh, man. Those plays add up so quickly. They do. And I don't know. I wish my quarterback could do that. But to continue on the Brock Purdy train, I think something that a lot of people, myself included, kind of overlooked was that Brock Purdy was a rookie last year, and there was an equal chance that, like, oh, he could regress. He could also progress, right? Those were like his first 9 starts in the NFL ever. There's a chance he could get better, and he has gotten better. He legitimately looks like a better player this year. He does. He does more out of structure. He still is hitting those layups that are given to him in the offense, which they're layups, but you still got to hit them. There's Pacheco again, right? But he can go through his reads quickly, get the ball out. Like, he plays point guard very well. So, and the elbow has not been an issue whatsoever, it looks like. So, good for Brock. I mean, he is a better football player this year, and that is what makes the 49ers so dangerous. What a story, man. I'm rooting for him. He seems like a good guy. In love with Brock. Pacheco, more patient running. Not going to get much there. Denver played that one pretty well. Didn't see much inside, bounced it outside. Maybe you go north-south there. I don't know. He tried it. He didn't lose anything, at least. They're showing his run against the Jets. Top 5 favorite Pokemon. Well, number 1, I'm going to have to go Torterra. I grew up playing Gen 4. For my birthday, my parents got my 9th birthday, I believe. My parents got me a Silver DS Lite and Pokemon Platinum. Maybe one of the best birthday gifts I think I've ever gotten. And Turtwig was my starter. And let me tell you, there's Kelsey again. My level 100 Torterra was not to be messed with. He was a beast. He knew Earthquake. So that would be my number 1. I like all the Gen 4 Pokemon. I really like Arceus. I went to Toys R Us to get the Toys R Us Arceus with my parents. That was a whole thing. That was awesome. They had him at Toys R Us to promote the new movie. Yeah, I don't know. Charizard is cool. Arcanine is cool. I guess those are Gen 1 guys, but yeah, I love Pokemon Platinum. One of my favorite games of all time. Oh, Mahomes with the little fake. He's still buying time. Nothing doing there. Maybe a little too fancy there. 4th and 2. Do the Chiefs just kick it? They're booing. They're booing at Arrowhead. They're booing the Chiefs. All right, okay. I get it. You're frustrated. The offense hasn't been that great. But also, you're winning. You've won 2 Super Bowls in like the last 5 years. I don't know. Oh, what's this? The fake field goal push. And they cut away from it. Okay, you know how we always joke about like people getting yelled at in the production room? Someone got yelled at for cutting away from that. They literally just cut to some rando on the sideline. Did they get it? I didn't even see the play. Did that happen on your guys' screen too? Like, did that happen on the regular broadcast? Was he short? They were short. They tried it and they didn't get it. So I'm curious. Like, was that on all the broadcasts? I don't know if anyone else was watching the Prime Vision. But yeah, they cut away to some rando on the sideline instead of showing a 4th down and 2 situation inside like the 10-yard line. Gabe says there is screaming right now. Yeah, people are probably ticked off. That was tough. Yeah, that's right. We work in sports media. Oh, that is so tough. Man. UGA would never. Michaelis would never let that fly. Oh, that's a tough scene. All right, so I guess I'm not the only one that saw that. But yeah. So they faked the field goal. They tried the push with, like, was that Noah Gray they tried it with? And they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Wow. So the Chiefs get cued on back-to-back plays. They need 2 yards. They get cued on both of them, and they don't pick it up. And, man, I don't want to say this Chiefs offense is struggling because at the drop of the hat, they could just turn it on. But this Chiefs team, they've really been like the ultimate case study of, do wide receivers matter, right? There's been this discourse of, oh, running backs don't matter, right? The Chiefs are saying, hey, wait a second. What if we tried that with wide receivers? To be honest, it's not working right now. It is really not working. They kind of tried it last year when they traded Tyreek, and that worked out. But it's important to remember, I've talked about this player some on this channel. Not to brag, but a few Chiefs fans gave me shout-outs in the chat for pointing this out. You know who they really miss right now? And it's a guy that's really not seeing the field that much on the team that got him, is Juju. This team really misses Juju Smith-Schuster right now, just as another option in the passing game. Even if he's not that elite guy we thought he could be in Pittsburgh, right? Even if he does need an Antonio Brown or a Travis Kelce taking away attention. He's a good number 2. And he offers a lot on all 3 levels of the field. He offers a lot as a blocker. They miss him right now. They really do. They signed him to a 1-year deal. He had almost 1,000 yards. They win the Super Bowl. They had to let him walk, and the young guys just have not stepped up behind him. They were banking on Tony or Sky Moore or Shee Rice or Justin Ross to step up. None of them have stepped up so far. So maybe wide receivers matter a little bit. And also, I still do think running backs matter somewhat. I think running backs don't matter should be rephrased to, it is possible in theory and in practice to have a successful offense without paying a running back top dollar. But also, there are some situations where paying a running back top dollar can be beneficial. But that doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it? Anyways, this has been one of the games that I've seen this year. The Broncos have the ball back. It's still 3-0. And none of my bets look close to hitting right now. And okay, here's a fun game I'm going to play. So this game is 3-0. I mentioned earlier there's another game going on. Braves-Phillies right now. I know some people that are watching that game. Now, without telling me, I'm going to go check at some point. What are the odds that the Braves-Phillies game has a higher score than this game right now? What are the odds that there are 4 combined runs in that game as opposed to 3-0 here? I'm going to go check right now. Let's go check in on the Braves and Phillies. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's 2-1 Braves right now. That's my prediction. We're going to hit refresh. No, it's still 0-0. Okay. Yeah, my team got knocked out of the playoffs, but we're still following the playoffs. But this is Dr. Pigskin, not Dr. Diamond. Back to football we go. That was just a fun little game I was playing. And Pear Champ, you bring up an excellent point that I will get to in a sec here after this big 3rd and 5. But that is an excellent point, and I think we might need to have a conversation about that. Uh-oh, that one was tipped at the line, it looks like. Well, the Broncos get the ball back, and they go 3 and out. This has been a car crash of a game so far, but it's been fun hanging out with you guys. But good point, Pear Champ. The offensive coordinator go to the Commanders. Eric Bieniemy, absolutely. And for the longest time, right, Bieniemy wasn't getting hired. He was a guy, like his name was getting thrown around for a head coaching position, didn't get hired. And I think like the big sort of knock on him was, well, Andy Reid still calls the plays, and like they have Mahomes and Kelce. The punt is almost muffed. Chiefs get the ball back. What is this game? But it is kind of interesting how this Chiefs offense has looked noticeably worse without him. And the Commanders offense, for as many sacks as Sam Howell has taken, which we'll get to finally, but they've looked all right. So I don't know. Maybe Bieniemy does deserve some credit. That is an excellent call, though. Shout out Eric Bieniemy. It was an interesting move, right? Because it was a lateral move to go from offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator. But now he's the guy calling the plays. And, you know, Ron Rivera's on kind of a hot seat right now. Might they just replace him with Bieniemy? I mean, maybe they said, hey, if Rivera goes, like, we'll promote you. That's why he took the job. But let's take a look at this Sam Howell stat that I was teasing at for a while. But, yeah. Where did this? Okay, pressure, QB. So I'm trying to decipher this, but essentially what it looks like is, man, there is a better stat than this. So it says pressures are a stat the QB can own. This report considers plays where offense allowed pressure. So QB owned pressures allowed. Sam Howell has been responsible on his own for 10 of the sacks he's taken. That still means 19 sacks that's not his fault. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, again, there was another stat that I liked better. Maybe I'll find that later. You guys get the point, though, is that a lot of this is on Sam Howell. And, you know, this is his first year as a starter. He'll probably get better. He'll learn some of it. I like some of the stuff I see from him as far as his arm goes. Not being afraid to take shots. But, yeah. Let's see some more pocket presence. Oh, the Braves just scored. Austin Riley home run. All right. Game on. But, yeah, the Commanders have a secondary problem. And that is that their secondary is kind of outmatched, but they continue to just run man coverage against good wide receivers. And it has killed them the past 2 games. They got killed by DJ Moore. And the week before, they got killed by A.J. Brown. And I don't want to pick on Emmanuel Forbes because he brings a lot to the table. But the big knock on him pre-draft, right, was that he's very small. Very small guy. And I'm sorry, but when you have him going man coverage, trying to press A.J. Brown, what do you think is going to happen? You can't even blame Forbes. Like, that's just bad coaching, in my opinion. That's putting your players in a bad spot. They do not have the corners to go man-to-man with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith or DJ Moore. And it has killed them the past 2 weeks. There's Kelsey again. And it's a shame because his defensive line for the Commanders is awesome, right? I've raved about it all season. It's been awesome for a few years now. But those corners are just killing them right now. I mean, what, Emmanuel Forbes is listed... Well, this is his college page, I think. I'm sure he's heavier than 166 now, but less than 200 pounds, and he's going up against, like, A.J. Brown. That is a matchup nightmare. Of course Philly's going to go to that. But, so, that's my take on the Bears-Commanders game. The Commanders are a fairly promising team, but they have a few glaring weaknesses right now that have kind of held them back. Gabe says, I swear Kelsey is running a 10-yard out and then 2 yards back inside every play. I mean, if it works, right? If there's anyone in the NFL that can find the hole in the zone, find the cushion, the soft spot in the defense, it's Travis Kelsey. And, I mean, sometimes he and Patrick Mahomes don't even, like, he just tells him, go find the opening. So that's where the opening has been, and it's working. It's moving the chains. Here's Pacheco again. Pacheco came to play today. Look at him fired up. One of my favorite backs in the NFL, Isaiah Pacheco. He came to play. You know, his over is going to hit. Who do you root for, Pear Champ? I know this answer, actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's mentioned this before. Packers, yes. We were talking about Amari Rodgers. I believe that was the first time we were ever on this stream, actually. Yeah, Packers fan. We have a few Packers fans that support this channel. We've got 3/4 of the NFC North represented right now, actually. Mahomes with time. Kelsey again. Oh, man. Kelsey again. There it is. There it is. There's Taylor Swift again. Here we go. All right. Travis Kelce. Hey, get him a touchdown. Good for the ticket, right? Get him a touchdown. Man. He just gets open, gets the ball. Chunk play. He already has 7 catches. That man's going for like 15 this game, I swear. Now he's out. He had Rice. Mahomes had Rice. I don't know if it just wasn't a part of his progression. It looked like he had Rashee Rice underneath, though, for at least a few yards. Who was your favorite player growing up? That's a good question. I'm curious. Favorite Packers player growing up? There's a few good calls you could go with, I feel like. All right, 2nd and goal now for the Chiefs. So 7 catches for Kelce, and then the next closest guy is Pacheco with 2. Tough. Kelce back in now. You feel like they might go to him here, right? 2nd and long, maybe not even to the end zone. No, they're going to give it to Pacheco. Still going. All right, 3rd and manageable. Favorite players are Aaron Rodgers. Also loved Eddie Lacy for the short time, Jordy Nelson, and Devontae Adams. You know, Green Bay has been blessed with some good offensive talent. Jordy Nelson's a nice little throwback. I remember his coming out party was against the Steelers in the Super Bowl. He had a great game in the Super Bowl. And then the next season, he just went bonkers. That was his first year as a starter, I think. He had like 15 touchdowns. Man, Clay Matthews. Oh, yeah. The flex. Here we go. 3rd and goal. Tony touchdown. Finally, we have a touchdown in this game. Kadarius Toney. There we go. Points. There's the breakthrough. Feels like we're watching a soccer game right now. Oh, that's the breakthrough. Man, he is a guy that you want to talk about much maligned. Week 1, everyone was coming at him. He's been a little bit better since then. Still not quite lived up to his potential, I don't think, but he got the touchdown there. Flags flying. He had a decent role against the Vikings last week, I feel like. Detroit Lions legend. Yes, he is. All due respect to the Lions. And, you can't really detract anything from the Lions at this point because I think they've established, like, they're for real. This is one of the better teams in the NFC, one of the better teams in the NFL. But, man, he really won the Lions that game. He really did. That being said, they've earned their respect. They played good enough to win regardless. I'm not saying, like, oh, they only won because of that. They played well enough to win regardless. But, man, Detroit might just run away with that division. I remember back at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, I tipped my cap to the schedule makers. Vikings, Lions, 2 of the last 3 weeks. Yeah, those games aren't going to matter. Those games are not going to matter. Tough. But, commercial break. Why don't we continue our little walk through week 5? Speaking of the Vikings, let's talk about the Vikings. This is just the next game that comes up for me, right? Because I have them set as my favorite team on ESPN. Vikings fall to the Chiefs. 27-20. And as I mentioned earlier, man, it was one of those games where you walk out thinking, golly, we could have won that game. But I tell you what, I mean, they did not deserve to win it, though. I mean, it's clear at this point, right? I've said this a few times now in our little group chat, right, calling them a bad team, and people are like, oh, are they really? Here's my Vikings take at this team. Parachamp says, got screwed by the refs a little bit. There are a few fishy calls, but it didn't define the game, right? The Vikings still got the ball back with a chance to win it, albeit with not much time, but I mean, the refs weren't fumbling the ball, right? The refs weren't like dropping the ball on important like third downs or like failing to score in the red zone. It was tough. There were a few calls that there were a few flags that could have been thrown. It's tough, but I'm not going to be like, oh, the NFL rigged it for the Chiefs because of Taylor Swift. Like, no, come on. That would be preposterous to say. But it was tough. But yeah, the Vikings. So my Vikings take is this, right? The Vikings are really only good at one thing, and that's passing the ball, which, they're pretty good at it. Kirk Cousins has thrown the ball fairly well this year, right? They've got a lot of weapons. Obviously, they've got Jefferson. Well, they had Jefferson. Addison, Hawkinson, right? And a great offensive line, to be quite honest with you. This Vikings offensive line has been playing at a very high level this season, especially in pass protection. But outside of that, they're not really good at anything else. And when you turn again, it is hard to win when you're one-dimensional. And it's a heck of a lot harder when you're turning the ball over, when you're burning timeouts when you don't need to. I mean, it's just like silly little mistakes that add up. And when you make even 2 mistakes when you're that one-dimensional, it is just so hard to win, right? This team's only win was an 8-point nail-biter against the Panthers, who are the only winless team in the NFL. So I guess my big Vikings take is this. People say they're a talented team. And it's like, yes, but all their talent is concentrated in one area. And I just think some people might see good box scores from the Vikings or Justin Jefferson had a good game or they threw the ball well, but they lost and it was close. So therefore they're kind of good. But let's pretend their one strength was pass rush instead of passing the ball. No one would be saying they're not that bad. So I don't, it's a pessimistic way to look at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still watching every game of the Vikings and there's some tank talk. I'm definitely never going to root against the Vikings. It is always good to see your favorite team win. I would have loved to win that game even if it hurts our draft position. Ooh, pass batted at the line again. But in a similar vein, and this is not going to happen, but let's say the Vikings lost the rest of their games and they went 1-16. Oh no, dang it. But I mean, I'm never going to be like next week when I'll be like, yeah, DJ Moore touchdown against the Vikings. But that is my Vikings take, is they're one-dimensional, which makes it hard to win. And when you make silly mistakes like turn the ball over or take a bad sack or drop the ball or burn your timeouts, that just makes it infinitely harder. But, this team will probably mess around and win 6 games or something. Parachamp says, what do you think the Vikings are struggling more this season? Not just the one-score games, no Dalvin Cook. That's tough to say because Dalvin has not looked that great with the Jets, and he's not really seen the field as much, it seems like, these days. I mean, Breece Hall is clearly the better back. I think it's not no Dalvin Cook, it's that they did not really do anything to replace him until they got Cam Akers. And even then, Cam Akers is not super inspiring. He had a good game against Carolina, but other than that, it's not been much. Also, Russ is going to go down. Man, this Broncos offense is looking awful right now. And tip your cap to the Chiefs defense. I mean, they have been playing some excellent football this season. But, man, they just can't get anything going. But I would say letting Dalvin Cook go was absolutely the right move. This is a team that's trying to get younger, save money. I really don't think he was worth what we were paying him. And as he gets older, he's probably going to continue to decline more. However, when your moves to replace him are pretty much bringing back Alexander Madison and then Dwayne McBride, drafting him in the 7th round, and Ty Chandler. And again, we traded for Cam Akers, which it's okay, at least we recognize there's a problem. But maybe we took running backs don't matter to the extreme a little bit. And this was a team that also just maybe kind of got high on their own supply. And they're like, man, we won 13 games last year with Justin Jefferson and vibes. Maybe we can cut costs and win 9 games with Justin Jefferson and vibes. And it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. I honestly think the defense has been solid. I think the defense has been much improved. The defense was the weakness last year. The defense was terrible. I think this defense is honestly punching above its weight this season. I mean, I thought they played a pretty good game against the Chiefs. They've been solid all year, I think. They blitz a lot. Yeah, they give up some big plays, but given the personnel that we're working with on defense, it is impressive that this isn't like bottom 3 in the NFL in points allowed, and maybe it is, but it doesn't seem like it. I'm going to double check that right now. But it doesn't seem like it. I feel like they've been maybe just below average, which we'll take, to be honest. I mean, for how many resources have been put into this offense, I think the offense has been more concerning than the defense, and it's just like they haven't been able to stay on the field, and I don't know. It has been a frustrating outfit to watch so far. It's been very inconsistent. Where do the Vikings rank in points allowed? So they give up 24.4, which isn't ideal, right? Let's do some counting. They're 10th worst, which still isn't great, obviously. But they legitimately might have been like the worst defense in the NFL last season. So that's improvement. And that's with them also letting a lot of guys go on defense, right? Dalvin Tomlinson goes, Zadarius Smith, Patrick Peterson, Duke Shelley, Eric Kendricks. That's 5 starters right off the bat that they just kind of let go in an effort to get younger. So some of this was to be expected, but 1-4 stings. But Gabe asks, yeah, sorry about the Vikings rant right there. I had to share that with someone. But that is my state of the Vikings. To be quite honest, I think we are probably a bottom 8 team in the NFL. Like, just actually, especially without Jefferson now. But darn it, I'm still going to be watching. I'm still going to be watching. We still love the Vikings. That's still my team, you know. It's going to take a lot more than this. If I can survive 2010, the Metrodome roof collapsing, if I can make it through that year as an impatient 10-year-old, I think I'll be okay. But how miserable would it be to be a Broncos fan right now? Oh, man. Yeah. I think I'd mentioned this before, maybe on here, maybe in a group chat, but I think it's funny, right? People always pointed to the Rams as the classic, like, oh, selling your soul for a Super Bowl and just being terrible for the next 20 years. It's been the Broncos the whole time. The Broncos have not been good since they won the Super Bowl with Peyton back in 2015. They have not been good since then. They have not beaten the Chiefs since then. That was their last win, 2015, with Peyton Manning. That was the last time they beat the Chiefs. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs since then. It has been bad. They have been mid at best. I feel bad for Broncos fans. They tasted the glory, but it's been nothing since then. So, I don't know. We'll see if the Chiefs can steal some more points here before halftime. And then during halftime, we can run through some more questions, talk some more week 5. I only really talked about the Vikings. I don't talk about the game that much. I mean, there's not much to say. Mahomes going deep. Oh, it's intercepted. What is going on? There's a flag down, so we'll see about that. Kareem Jackson with the interception. What the heck is going on? Pass interference. Oh. Instead of a pick, it's a big gain. Oh, no. Oh. The aggregators are not going to like that one. Dove Kleiman's going to be furious. They've all got an agenda against the Chiefs. That one's broken up. Is that McMillan again? No, that's Mathis, who just had the pass interference. Good job to jump the route there. Way to come back with a good play. Way to respond. But that is brutal. To think you have a pick, right? You're fighting to stay in this game. You're down 2 scores. You don't want to go down 3, certainly, right? Maybe you get back in. But it's a pass interference. But yeah, it seems like all the aggregator accounts do not like the Chiefs. Mahomes, plenty of time there. McKinnon dropped it. Oh. Poor Jerick. I love Jerick McKinnon. Former Viking, obviously. He was one of my favorite players on those Vikings teams. You want to talk about a guy that busted his tail every play? It didn't matter if we were up by 3 touchdowns or down 3 touchdowns. that is one thing I will always respect Jerick McKinnon for. Like, I don't know. He would bust his tail every single play. It didn't matter if it was blocking, if he was running, if he was receiving. I love Jerick McKinnon. FCS guy, too. Played quarterback in college. Mahomes with more time. Look at that. He's got all day back there. Credit to this Chiefs line. Finally runs out of time, just throws it away. No one getting open. Uh-oh. Flag down. I think we know what this is going to be. Is it going to be a roughing the passer? Well, they show one of the offensive linemen looking guilty now. Maybe it's a hold. Mahomes is chopping it up with the refs. Let's see what the call is here. 2 fouls. Both on the offense. Oh, they're going to get him for grounding. Whoa, okay. That's huge. That's a loss of down and a loss of a lot of yards. Flag on the play. Yeah. That's a flag on the play. Well, let's see. I felt like he was out of the tackle box. Maybe not. He was. Oh, but it didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Okay, that makes, because I was like, he was well out of the tackle box. Okay, that makes more sense. I was about to be like, hold on. So it's 4th and 26. Goodness gracious almighty. The Denver Broncos are going to get the ball one more time before halftime. To quote Spy Kids, do you think, I can't remember the actual quote. You guys might know what I'm talking about. The Steve Buscemi quote. It's like, do you think God stays in heaven because he lives in fear of what he's created? Such a profound quote for a kids movie. One of those things he might fear is the Denver Broncos offense. They're about to see the field again. And it's funny because I was praising this offense earlier. I honestly think the Broncos offense has been solid this year. I think Russ has played some all right football. Not today, though. There's just something about this Denver Broncos offense in prime time. It just ceases to function. Gabe says, where's Chad Henne when we need him? Where is Chad Henne? He's probably just like, what, chilling in Michigan right now? What's Chad Henne up to? He's a former football quarterback. Is that a picture of him coaching maybe? Hold on, let me pull this up for you guys. Oops, not that. We're back to the game. Let's take a look at Chad Henne here. Is he like coaching high school? Oh, that's awesome. Wilson. I don't know where that is, but they're going to make me pay. No thanks. Well, Chad Henne coaches football now. That's cool. I always like seeing that. Former players like coaching high school. That's got to be so cool for those kids. P. Ryan, here we go. I think like what, Phillip Rivers coaches football too. Is it back in Mississippi? It was like Mississippi or Louisiana, but Phillip Rivers is coaching high school football. Jeff Saturday was coaching high school football for a little bit over in Georgia, actually. Hebron Christian, I believe. And then he coached the NFL for a little bit, which sometimes I have to remind myself that was real and not just like my imagination. Jeff Saturday coaching in the NFL. And now he's back on ESPN. And like apparently he's like more than just NFL now. Like I saw him like being a part of like a Joel Embiid segment. It's like, what are we doing here? He looked so confused. He's just sitting there like just kind of smiling the whole time. I mean, I don't blame him. Honestly, if you put me on an NBA segment, I wouldn't really know what to say either. I'd be like, Timberwolves, good. That's my take. All right, 2nd and 10. Wilson. Not much. He's inbounds. The Broncos do have 2 timeouts, and they're opting not to use them for reasons. Now maybe they are. Whistle came in. My stream is lagging a little bit. I say stream. I'm like watching this legally. I have Prime, but I'm going to refresh it real quick because I can't miss a single snap of Broncos football. I need my fix. Now they're showing the Chiefs trophies. 3 of them. The Kansas City Chiefs. So Pearchamp says Chad retired after getting a ring with the Chiefs last I heard. That checks out. Yeah. That is cool for him to get a ring. Brett Favre is just a state in the state of Mississippi. Tough. Love former NFL players giving back. Yeah, I don't think he gave back. I think he gave, I guess, I don't know what the opposite of giving back is. As Wilson gets sacked, it's 4th down. So the Broncos are going to get shut out in the first half as Chris Jones enters his name into the stat sheet. Yeah, Brett Favre receives instead of giving back. He steals, actually. That's a better way to put it. Vikings legend. But yeah, Chris Jones with another sack. Man, I tell you what, Chris Jones has been a good player for this Chiefs defense that I'm starting to maybe mount a case that this Chiefs defense is a top 5 unit in the National Football League. I think it's pretty widely accepted at this point that this is the best Chiefs defense they've ever had with Mahomes. You know, during the early Alex Smith days, the Chiefs were a defensive team. Like back when they first had Andy Reid. Here's some names for you guys. Justin Houston, Tama Lee, Derek Johnson, Eric Berry, Sean Smith, Dontari Poe. Those were some sick defenses. They were a defensive team then. They had Jamal Charles in that running game. And then, you know, obviously the offensive explosion with Mahomes. The wheel has come full circle, though. We're back to a defensive running team. Except they've also got Michael Jordan at quarterback, too. What are the top 5 best defenses in the league then, Doctor? Ooh, that'll be that's a fun halftime discussion. I'm going to have to think about that for a little bit. Let me ruminate on that. I think I used that word correctly. Let me think. Top 5 defenses in the NFL. There are a few teams that come to mind right off the top of my head, but I'm not going to give too much away. But I think the Chiefs might make the cut, to be honest. I really do. I'm going to have to order them, too. But let's watch this final Chiefs drive here. They've got 13 seconds, which we know is too much time for Patrick Mahomes. He gets it off to McKinnon. They do have 3 timeouts. They'll burn 1. Caden's in here. He says, bonjour. Welcome to the stream, Caden. Good to have you back. It's Broncos primetime football, baby. They're down 10-0 right now. It has been an ugly game. None of my bets are looking too good right now, except for maybe Pacheco. But that's what you get when you bet Brandon Johnson over receiving yards. Pacheco's well on his way to hitting. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson has 37 passing yards. I thought, man, this Chiefs defense is good, but surely he'll get 217, right? Well, maybe not. Justin Watson has yet to get a catch. It's looking tough. We've been losing a lot on prize picks recently, but that's why we play in moderation. Look at me. Mahomes is going to scramble, and, oh, he took a big hit. He's going to want a flag. Are they going to throw it? I don't think so. I'm okay with that, honestly. It was a tough hit, but I don't think he got hit in the head. He didn't really give himself up as a runner, I don't think. It played out fast in real time. I'm okay with no flag there. Let's see this play back again, though. Obviously, you don't want your quarterbacks taking big hits like that, but he is a runner in that play. Oh, I don't know. He didn't fully commit to the slide. That's borderline. I can understand in real time why they didn't throw the flag. I can maybe see why Mahomes is like, hey, what the heck? I just got decked, but Caden says, honestly expected worse. I mean, I maybe expected like a bigger blowout, but man, as far as like quality of game, it's not been a barn burner. But here we've got a long field goal attempt. Here's something to get excited for. Harrison Butker's going to try from the logo. Call him Precious. And it is good by a mile. He drilled it. Oh, my goodness. Harrison Butker, what a kick. Oh, baby. He crushed that thing. I mean, that thing, like, destroyed the back of the net. Oh, my goodness. That thing was good from 75. What a kick. Oh, man. All right. Halftime. We're chilling, right? So, top 5 defenses. I see Pear Champ has thrown his hat into the ring. He says 49ers, Steelers, Cowboys, Lions, Jets, maybe swap Chiefs in for Steelers or Cowboys. That's a list I can get down with, to be honest. So, here's what I'll say. Here are the non-negotiables, I will say. I would say that the 49ers are a non-negotiable. They might be the best defense in the NFL. They lead the league in points per game allowed thus far. I think you could make a great argument for them being number 1. Would have no issue with it. I think that their hat, like they deserve, without a doubt, they should be in everyone's top 5 list. Steelers, I would also agree with. Their points per game is a little bit lower, but if you want to talk about the importance of creating turnovers and big plays, I mean, the Steelers, by the grace of God and their defense, are 3-2 right now. Let me switch screens here, right? The Steelers are 3-2 because of their defense right now, 110%. This might be the most valuable defense in football. And yeah, week 1 was tough. The 49ers, they had their way with him. But the 49ers have been doing that with everyone this season. They did it with the Cowboys, too, who was mentioned in that list and might make my list, even with their injuries, right? That's crazy, right? They've given up 30 twice, but also I still think this is probably one of the 5 best defenses in the NFL. There's just so much on their plate. Offense has not been great, so the onus is on them even more. And they have literally won them these 3 games. It is incredible. So I would agree with the Steelers being a top 5 defense. Here's a tricky one. Now, when healthy, I would say the Bills, no question, because this defense has been awesome so far. They've lost a few guys. Man, it stinks that Trey White got hurt. That one was devastating because he has had some tough luck with injuries recently, and he's such a good player, and this defense is so nasty when they're healthy. I mean, look at this run right here. They held the Dolphins to 20, which is huge. I still might put him in there. They're just so sound as a unit. Sean McDermott has done an awesome job calling this defense, coming in for Leslie Frazier. They play a more aggressive brand of football now. Von Miller, this man right here, still getting back up to speed, but if by this stretch of the season, Von Miller looks like how he was playing last year before he got hurt, I have no problem calling this a top 5 defense. I would say the Bills, to be honest, even without Trey White. They've had injuries. Their safeties are great. Their linebackers have been good. I mean, they lost Milano too, though. I will say when healthy, the Bills might be a top 3 defense. With injuries, they might be like 6 or 7 because they've lost arguably their 2 best players, maybe their 2 most important players on defense. A fully healthy Bills defense is top 3. But I have to ding them with injuries, I think. So that's tough, but they're still playing at a high level. The Browns, they've been great so far. I probably would not call them top 5 just because they might have had a little bit of help from their schedule. But there's a lot of talent on this unit, and Jim Schwartz deserves a lot of credit for being a great defensive coordinator. The Cowboys are a team that's been rocked by injury, and they got absolutely rocked on Sunday. I will admit, I actually did not watch this game. I was watching the Twins playoff game instead, which I have no regrets about. That was the one that they won. But I saw this, and I saw some clips. It was not good. I mean, they just got humiliated. I don't want to overreact from one game, though, because other than that, this defense has been pretty good. But then again, they lost Trayvon Diggs. They're borderline. I might sneak them in. Would I take the Cowboys or the Chiefs defense right now? I might go Chiefs, to be honest. This Chiefs defense is good. I am going to call Chiefs top 5. Okay, so I've been rambling a little bit. 49ers, for sure. Steelers, for sure. You could talk me into the Ravens. They've somehow been able to perform at such a high level over the past, 2 seasons now, with just an unbelievable amount of injuries and really no, star pass rushers. But Roquan Smith leads an unbelievable linebacking core. Jadeveon Clowney's been really good for them. Kyle Hamilton's been great. Marcus Williams, Marlon Humphrey's a good corner. Yeah, I'm throwing the Ravens in there. I mean, give some credit to Mike McDonald, what he's been able to do through injuries and personnel deficits. And the strengths that they do have, they play to. So I will say the Ravens are a top 5 defense. So if I had to put them in order, I would say 49ers at 1. I might say Steelers too, which again is crazy, but they're so valuable. They're so important. They play at such a high level. So many good playmakers, well coached. I don't know if I'll say see, I so want to say Cowboys or Bills, but it's just tough with the injuries. The Jets are definitely in there too. I will say, factoring in injuries, I will say my top 5, in no particular order, are 49ers, Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs, and Jets. But otherwise, if they were all fully healthy, I would probably swap out the Chiefs and... Oh, man. I would swap out the Chiefs and probably the Steelers or Ravens with the Cowboys and Bills. So those are my top defenses right now. I also want to give a shout out to the Jaguars defense real quick before we move on. Talk about some other stuff. I see Caden trolling in here. I will respond to your Romeo Dobbs take in a second because you seem to be fascinated with that this season. Let's give a shout out to the Jaguars defense, baby. This Jaguars defense has been awesome. And you know what? People were doubting me in Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday about the Jaguars. I heard Jack Gothberg saying, you know what, Eric? Your Jaguars take isn't looking so great right now. And I acknowledged it a little bit, and I was like, you know what? They haven't been off to the greatest start. But this Jacksonville defense, they are a bunch of tough sons of guns. Hold the Chiefs to 17. Hold the Bills to 20. They've got good players. Andre Sisco's been playing at a Pro Bowl level. Tyson Campbell's been good. Trayvon Walker has shown flashes. Josh Allen has been good. This Jaguars defense is here, and they're ready to play. Let's go. They have gone from underrated to good. This is a good defense. Let's go, baby. Jaguars. The Jaguars are back. What a big win over the Bills. We'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, some nice little defense talk. Good to give the defense some love. We can get back to where we were earlier, maybe. What the? Anyways, yeah, we were talking about this game a little bit. But, all right, so Caden says, what's your opinion on everyone saying Dobbs Jefferson? That's crazy because I don't know how many people are saying that. Romeo Dobbs, huh? I will say, I applaud your commitment to the bit, I will say. But yeah. He has 3 touchdowns. Good for him. You know, maybe he was better than Justin Jefferson when Jefferson was like 4 years old. I'll give you that. How does Caden O'Connor's junior year incident affected the course of your life? What? I'm not sure that there's a junior year incident, to be honest. At least not one that I can think of. Certainly not one that I've mentioned. I mean, I'm sure we've all had junior year incidents if we really think back on it. I've had my fair share of junior year incidents, but we don't need to get into that right now. Exactly. I just want to know what the junior year incident is. Hey, your guess is as good as mine. I think he's being provocative right now, but I don't even know if it's junior year of high school or college. But I will say, both in high school and college, I've had my fair share of junior year incidents. Classic. Anyways, back to football. Top 3 top songs? What is going on? I remember one time, Gabe, you said you watched Planet Sheen growing up as a kid, and that just explains so much. Anyways, the Vikings lost to the Chiefs. It stunk. I was there. No, it was fun. It was really good to be back at US Bank Stadium. It was good to watch a Vikings game with my dad again. That had been a Sunday tradition for us for so long. Yeah, it's a great stadium. Maybe a little bit too much red in the stands, but overall it was a fun game to watch. It was competitive. The crowd was loud. And it was good to be back in Minneapolis for a little bit. So, and you know what? Shout out to my aunt and uncle for letting me stay at their place Sunday night and then driving me to the airport Monday morning. Shout out my aunt and uncle. Clutch move from them. We watched the Twins game together. It was nice. I went home this weekend, got to see some family, see some friends. One of my childhood best friends got married, who's a huge Colts fan, by the way, and they've got a big game coming up. So yeah, it was really nice. Got to catch up with some old faces. Got to experience some nice, real fall weather. I took a nice little walk through my neighborhood. I went down a walking path that I usually go walk. It's like a little bike path that goes over a creek, and then there's like a little pond, and I sat out on a bench, and I stared at the geese playing in the water for like 30 minutes, and it was actually super peaceful and relaxing. It was nice. I'm just so in touch with the world around me. Anyways, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's why I wasn't live last week. I was out of town. There'll probably be a few weeks where I don't stream, especially looking ahead, like when I graduate. Honestly, I don't want to say disappear because that sounds dark, and that's not a good way to put it. I will probably not be as active on this channel in mid to late December and even early January because I will be going home. I still might stream when I'm home though. We'll see. But I don't know. I'll be seeing family and friends and stuff. And then I'll actually be in Mexico January 3rd through 10th. That's really fun. Taking a grad trip with some family. It'll be really nice. We're going to Puerto Vallarta for a week. It's going to be me, Christine, my sister, her husband, my parents, and then my aunt and uncle, their cousins, and then their significant others. It's going to be really nice. I'm really excited for it. So I'll probably not be streaming that week. I don't know that there'll be any Dr. Pigskin from Mexico. El Doctor de Pigskin. Honestly, okay. Hopefully that doesn't get taken out of context. I did not mean for that to be offensive. Maybe that was bad, but I apologize if that ever offends anyone. As we have another... What? Oh my gosh, I've been rated twice now. Welcome back. That's awesome. Welcome back, guys. Talking about Mexico. That's crazy. I was not looking at my screen for like a solid 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden I look down. It's like, people are in here. That's crazy. I see a Philly fans in here. Go Phillies on the DL, of course. But that's crazy. Wow. The Grossi rate. Welcome back, everyone. We're watching Broncos Chiefs. It's been a game, I'll say that. I saw that he was having like a Taylor Swift versus Aaron Rodgers game back during the Chiefs-Jets game. Was that like 2 weeks ago? But, yeah. Broncos country, let's ride. They're going to need to ride a little harder here second half. We'll see. But that's crazy. Not two streams in a row, but that's twice now. That's like what the Dr. Doofenshmirtz, TikTok, the quote, whatever. It's like, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice. But I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all the love. Mexico's a cool country, good food. Yeah, Mexican food is good. That's a solid take. Now I feel really terrible. I said that, I don't know, I did an accent, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, oh, whatever. There's 3 people in here, and I look down, there's almost 200 people. But anyways, back to football. Let's go. Let's switch back. We barely ended up talking about the games, but that's okay. We are back on the field now to start the third quarter. We've still got some people talking in here. Do I have a horse? Pun intended. Nice. In this game? Not really. Even though I'm rocking the Chiefs jersey, I just like to wear a jersey if it's relevant to the team that's playing. As lame of an answer as this might be, I'm just hoping for a good game, which we've kind of gotten so far, but it's not been close. But yeah, 48 still in here. Not bad, not bad. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream already if you're new here. Maybe you checked me out last time. But yeah, stick around for a while if you so please. New video coming soon. But yeah, to be rated twice. 2nd and 4 now. Man, if Kansas City scores here, it's probably over, to be quite honest. There's Pacheco. Lightning is back in here. Let's go. Lightning's back. Good to see you. Go Lions. Welcome back to the stream. How have you been? Hope things have been going well. It's been a while. But yeah, Lions continue to look good. I'll say that. Good luck says thumbs up. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Fresh set of downs now for the Chiefs. They're going to fake it to Tony there. Nice little play design. Use Tony as a decoy. Yeah, baby. You are my favorite person outside of my dad. Wow, appreciate it. Thank you. Lightning asks, how's the game? The game has been something. It has been a low-scoring affair so far. It's 13-0. The Broncos have not put up much of a fight, even though they've had plenty of chances to capitalize off of turnovers. It's been rough. It is kind of ironic for the poor Broncos fans out there. Of course, this is the game where your defense really buckles down, but now your offense has nothing. So, some time to throw here for Mahomes. He gets it off to his check down Clyde. Clyde's got the first down. All right, chains keep moving. This might be where the Chiefs kind of put things away a little bit. Hamza says, Hamza, sorry, dyslexia. Not actually, I'm not dyslexic, but I mix up words sometimes. I honestly feel like they need to put the ball in Wilson's hands more. Offense is stagnant. Yeah, they've been trying a lot of runs with like a few different backs, and Javonte looked pretty good in the first quarter, but it seems like they've kind of gone away from that a little bit. It also seems like Denver just hasn't really had the ball that much. I mean, I wonder what the time of possession is. I'm trying to find it right now. Excuse me. Yeah, the Chiefs are winning the time of possession battle by a decent amount. The Broncos have only had the ball for 13 minutes. Lightning asks, how is Taylor Swift's boyfriend doing? He has been the best player on the field so far. He has 8 catches for 121 yards, according to ESPN. He is dominating. He's been good so far. The injury has not slowed him down that much. He's still getting open. And, yeah, he had 7 catches in the first half, so I would say that's pretty good. Hi, Owen. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you in here. Dr. Pigskin watch party. It's always a party. But, yeah, the offense for Denver has been rough. I don't know what else to say, man. This is, of course, now they go missing when their defense is playing well. It's been a hard knock life for Broncos fans. That time of possession, that's going to keep going up for Kansas City. This is what I keep preaching, right? Win in multiple ways. If this was like the 2018, 2019 Chiefs team, oh, what is this? What is this? They're going to throw it into double coverage to McKinnon? Okay, I'm sorry. Andy Reid, I love you. You have been off your rocker this game. I don't know what this man has been up to, but he has been scheming in the lab and maybe scheming a little bit too much. Owen asks, how is Patrick Mahomes doing? To be honest, it's not been his best work so far. He's missed a few throws. He's had he had one bad pick where he just kind of floated it. This offense as a whole has looked a little just disjointed. This has not been his finest work, I will say. Quick throw to Rice. There's your man right there, Caden, Rashee Rice. As soon as I say that, and I mean, this was just a nice schemed up play to get Rice the ball quickly, get him in space, but easy pitch and catch right there. He got the ball out quick. Clean release off the line, and the rest is gravy, baby. But yeah, that fake field goal was rough. It was, I mean, if it's 4th and 2 and you want to go for it, just go for it, man. Just go for it. Chiefs have been trying to style on the Broncos, and it's been ugly. It has. Like, they're trying to show off, but it's 13-0, and it's not working. Clyde going to be wrapped up for nothing there. 4 drives, 1 touchdown, and 1 field goal in the red zone. That's bad. That is uncharacteristic for this Chiefs team, quite honestly. It's just been a weird year offensively. They just don't have those guys in the wide receiver room. They really don't. So, who knows, man? Tough scenes. All right, 2nd and goal. Can they finish this drive off? They'll go to Pacheco. I think that'll be ruled as a pass. Nothing. Denver ready for it. Look at Josie Jewell violently throwing him. Pacheco wants a flag. No dice. I'm okay with that. That's a physical play. Man, I mean, there's just like they just look lost as soon as they get in the red zone. They run out of space. Everything gets so tight and condensed. That's where you kind of need a separator. That's kind of a take I have, and I feel like most people agree with this. Like, you know, having big bodies in the red zone is nice, obviously, and that seems to be the stereotypical red zone receiver. But really, you want to separate. There's just like not a lot of space. So if you can find any space, that's such a big asset in the red zone. Kelsey's open. Mahomes didn't see him. I mean, it probably wasn't his read. Good effort to MVS there. I mean, you can't knock Mahomes for missing him there. His eyes weren't there, but Kelsey was open. It's a Thursday night game, so I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, yeah, that's fair. And Denver's defense has been playing pretty well. But it's also kind of been a theme for the Chiefs just a little bit this year. I mean, they kind of had the same issues against the Jets, and the Jets also have a good defense. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is still the Kansas City Chiefs. You could tell me they're going to win the Super Bowl, and I would still buy it, right? I mean, they've just earned that respect. And they have 1 loss. Like, it is easy to get, like, worked up over a whole lot of nothing. We're starting to see some parallels between this Chiefs team and, like, the Brady Belichick Patriots, where, like, as soon as they mess up once, everyone's like, oh, it's over for them. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, so, I mean, they're winning 16-0 right now. But it's just been different from previous years. I think for me, that's just been what's been so jarring. But, yes, Thursday night games are weird. Denver's defense has been playing well. This is not like me saying, like, man, like, how do you struggle against the Broncos? But in the past, this would have been a different game, I feel. But I don't know. To your point, Hamza, you say, honestly, if the Chiefs are doing this against the Broncos, it's looking worrisome. It's a long season. I don't doubt that they'll figure something out. I've seen a few wild trade rumors. People think CeeDee Lamb is going to get traded to them. I'll believe that when I see it. Of course, some people are talking about a certain wide receiver in Minnesota getting traded. We'll see about that. My take with that is I'll believe it when I see it. However, and again, like, honestly, neither of those players are probably getting traded. But if Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams can get traded, anyone can get traded. It's not impossible, but, man, I wouldn't bet on it. I would not bet on it. Pearchamp asks, who do you think gets your first loss, 49ers or Eagles? That's a good question. So I suppose those are the 2 final undefeated teams remaining, right? And I would like to say, just on paper, based off who's looked better, I would lean towards the 49ers. But let's take a look at their schedules here. 49ers have an interesting looking game versus the Browns coming up, right? We've talked about this Browns defense a little bit. And I read somewhere that, like, Jim Schwartz is very good against Kyle Shanahan for some reason. Like, he has a very good record. He usually holds him to, like, 20 points per game. So it's something to watch. And again, this Browns defense is pretty good. They're winning this game, unfortunately. I would be surprised. Now, knowing the Vikings, it'll probably be like a 4-point game or something, but I mean, come on. The Bengals look better. And maybe Burrow's even healthier at this point. This is a few weeks down the road now. The Jaguars is interesting. Their offense hasn't quite performed up to the level that it probably should. but their defense has punched above its weight. I could see a potential loss here. I could see this being their quote-unquote trap game on the road against Cleveland. Could they come into this game undefeated? Man, that'd be fun if they did. History says no, they'll probably lose before that game. Shout out Parker, man. I don't know if he's in here right now, but I had a hot take stream, and Parker's hot take was that the Eagles and 49ers would come into their game both undefeated. And you know what? The dream is still alive. So, Parker, if you get this right, I got to give you something, because that would be an epic call. Oh, the Eagles, though. Jets, they should win. Dolphins, fun game. Is that Sunday night? It is. Let's go. Commanders was close, but, I mean, they should win. Cowboys look a little worse. Then the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Niners. All right, just based off of the schedule, I would probably lean Eagles. The Eagles don't look quite as good as they did last year, but also they're still the Eagles. They still have a very talented roster, and they're still 5-0. So I think it's pretty clear that those are the two best teams in the NFC. Looking forward to that 12-3 game. Going to be Christmas early. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You know, we've got some great games coming up. We really do. We've got a few clunkers. I feel like the primetime slate has been very hit or miss so far, but we've got some good ones second half of the season. We've got a lot to look forward to. The Monday night game should be fun. Cowboys-Chargers. I'm considering going live for that one. Gabe made the request that I go live on Thursday and Monday to make up for missing last week. And you know what? I don't think I have to work on Monday. That game looks pretty fun. Why not, right? Why not? Let's do it. But yeah, that Cowboys-Chargers should be fun. I mean, it's the Chargers, so it's a close game every time, right? Same thing with the Vikings. It's a Kellen Moore revenge game. Primetime Cowboys, how will they respond after a shellacking? That should be a good one. We will be watching. But, anyways, back to the game at hand. Penalty called there on the Chiefs. Fresh set of downs for the Broncos. It's still a 2-score game. Like, I mean, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-pointers, and it's tied. Kind of an uphill battle for Denver. It ain't over, but we'll see. Hamza says, I think Cowboys take the W. The defense might pull them through. I would probably have to agree with you. I still think Dallas is the better team than LA, even with some of their injuries on defense, even with how poorly they looked. I don't know. I find myself defending the Cowboys sometimes. I'm starting to maybe walk back that they make the Super Bowl take a little bit. That was my preseason take. And injuries have played a role, and some of it has just been the offense has been a little clunky, little inconsistent, but they're still probably the third or fourth best team in the NFC. You could talk me into the Lions maybe being better. And maybe the Seahawks. I don't know. A lot of season left. But the Lions look like a playoff lock at this point, which is crazy. But Caden says, good idea, Gabe. Oh, I know what you did in the Iberian Peninsula. I'm looking at that. Austin Eckler should be back for that game, too. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen him play. And you know what? He looked pretty good week 1 as a runner and a receiver, obviously. We all know that, but he ran pretty well. I do like me some Austin Eckler. He seems like a cool guy. The air guitar Selly. I like the way he plays the game. Undrafted guy. Fought like heck to earn his spot on the team. Good story, Austin Eckler is. Also kind of a tank. Sneaky strong player. So yeah, that'll be good to see him play again too. But I'll lean Dallas for that one. But we'll see. I'll make my official pick Sunday morning with my chocolate milk and coffee. All right, Broncos still got the ball. First down again. I've only been slightly paying attention this drive. Full disclosure. There's Judy. Judge Judy. Overruled. First down. this might be one of the better Broncos drives we've seen so far tonight. Stay hydrated. Never forget. I've got a lot of water left in here. Should probably have a little bit more. Man, that is a Judy stat line if I've ever seen one. 3 catches for 14 yards. That was a little mean, but... Uh-oh, another batted pass, and that one's picked. Oh, my gosh. Is that the 3rd batted pass? I swear, Russ has had 3 passes batted. Justin Reed gets that one. Oh, man. Well, so much for that, Hamza. Unfortunate timing. In these Broncos games, I feel like Russ has one deep play like in the Commanders game. If the Broncos D holds up, maybe it'll be competitive. Well, they're going to have to hold up again. Oh, my goodness. It just has not ended. Man alive. Just nothing. Nothing. That is so tough. Unfortunate. The classic jinx. Caden says, if Sutton could get a 42-yard catch, that would be pretty cool. I'm assuming that this impacts some of the people out in the desert, if you know what I'm saying. A 42-yard catch for Cortland Sutton. We'll see. I mean, they might just have to start chucking it at some point. Or they wave the white flag. That's a possibility, too. But, yeah, turnovers. There's been a lot of them in this game. Tough, to say the least. Denver just keeps shooting themselves in the foot. They could be in this game. They really could be in this game. But they just have not done themselves any favors. Maybe I jumped the gun. I got too excited seeing a little bit of a stretch of good play from Russ. And I was like, oh, maybe he's back to being like the 11th or 12th best QB in the league. Woof. Woof. I don't know, man. If they didn't wave it against Miami, they aren't going to against the Chiefs. That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, that was a game. I watched that unfold at Taco Mac. I don't know how many of you guys in here know what Taco Mac is. I've talked about Taco Mac a lot on this channel. I do love me some Taco Mac. But yeah, that was a legendary beatdown. Mike McDaniel taking back what's his. Ho-ho. But yeah, I don't know. Let's go back to week 5. Sorry, I don't know. My brain just stopped working for a sec. Well, now we're back to the game. I don't know. We've kind of been recapping the games a little bit. If there's any games in particular you guys want me to talk about, again, you know, this is an audience-driven stream. I always like getting input from you guys. I want to appreciate everyone that's popped in and out of here. The Grossi raid strikes again. And, yeah, we've just been chilling, talking ball. Bengals with a big get-right win against the Cardinals. Noah Gray sighting. Man, you feel like if you're the Chiefs, just keep that clock moving. Keep on ticking it down. Russell Wilson is 9 for 14 with 57 yards and 2 picks. It's like last year again. I mean, this offense has been unwatchable. And again, credit to this Chiefs defense. They're going to pad their stats a little bit. We had a good question here from Pearchamp. We'll get to that in a sec after we watch Mahomes escape. I mean, man, it is just crazy watching this time to throw counter on this Prime Vision broadcast. It is up at like 8-9 seconds a lot. And a lot of that is good blocking from the Chiefs. And then it's also Mahomes, as soon as it breaks down, getting away. It's just no one is getting open. Okay, so we got our Ravens fan in here. Okay. So Pearchamp asks, who do you got winning in London, Ravens or Titans? I'm going to have to agree with you, Hamza. I would have to also, let me know if I'm like saying that right, or is it like Hamza? Hopefully I'm not butchering that. But I would have to agree with the Ravens, one, because I think they're a really good team. And I mean, I think they're just better than the Titans. I was praising the Ravens defense a little bit earlier. This Titans offense has been very stop and start, and I wonder how they're going to fare against a very stout Ravens defense, especially with how much they want to run the ball. And, to your credit, right, like the receivers, man, you really just hoped that would go away this year with improved talent in the receiving core. How many drops was it? It was like 7 or something, wasn't it? Just crazy like that. I mean, the receivers really sold that game. Lamar Jackson had another great game. The defense had a great game. But the receivers just dropped everything. I mean, oh my goodness. It was terrible. They should have won that game easily. They should have blown Pittsburgh out. They should, yeah, I don't know. So the Ravens are frustrating 3-2 right now. I think they bounce back. Seriously, if their receivers can just catch a little bit. It's one game. I still think overall the receiving core is much better than last year. But, yeah, 7 or 8. I mean, it was bad. Hey, Lamar Jackson, though. I think he's kind of playing like an MVP. I'm not saying he's going to win MVP. But he's kind of playing like one right now. He's playing some excellent football. This is excellent work from Lamar. I'm a big Lamar supporter. I tell you what, talking about my top 10 quarterbacks list that I gave to some friends the other day. One take that is maybe a little spicy, but I will not back down from. I have Lamar at 3. I genuinely do. I only have Mahomes and Allen over him. You could argue Burrow. I wouldn't get mad, right? Burrow looked great. Maybe he's a little bit more healthy. You could argue Burrow, and I won't get upset. I'm taking Lamar over Joe Burrow. And that's without factoring injury. Like, if you have to factor in injury proneness, and that's ironic because Burrow's been the one that's been hurt. But I'm taking Lamar. Brock Purdy MVP, Caden asks. That's an interesting question. I think you might have been not quite here yet when I was talking about this, but Brock Purdy has just genuinely been playing better this season. And for as much as can be made about the supporting cast and the system he plays in, and yeah, you know what? Maybe life is a little bit easier being quarterback for the 49ers. But also, he has just kind of looked pretty good this year. Like, he has just looked like an actual good football player. I tell you what, he has MVP numbers. He has an MVP resume. How much do you place on the V in MVP, though, in most valuable player? And I don't want to penalize Purdy too much, right? Because he, like, what, is he just going to be bad? He's not just going to, be bad because the players around him are good. Like, it's not his fault he's hitting the throws. His advanced numbers are ridiculous, and his normal numbers, his more normal stats are good too, right? Let me pull up Purdy's page here. And again, I don't want to sound like a hater because honestly, Parachamp says Brock is Purdy good. Nice little pun right there. I always like to say Brock on, which I remember Caden said is the reason I made him dislike Brock Purdy, although I think that was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But for me, the biggest reason why I hesitate is the valuable and most valuable player. And if you're going to make MVP a quarterback award because it's the most valuable position, I still genuinely, and this is not a knock on Purdy. Again, he has been better. He's played pretty well. But there are probably 15 quarterbacks that could do what he's doing right now in that offense. Now, then again, that makes him number 16 in the NFL, which for Mr. Irrelevant is insane. I think Brock Purdy being the 16th best quarterback in the NFL is amazing news for the 49ers, right? Because last year, and what we kind of saw a little bit this year, but not nearly as much, is Brock Purdy can kind of have a bad game, and the Niners will still score 30, and they'll win by a lot. And that, this Giants game in particular, if you guys watch this Giants stream, Purdy did not necessarily have a great game. His numbers looked good, but he missed some throws. He made a few questionable decisions with the football, right? But then he's responded, right? And even these games, he's played pretty well. So you have to give him credit. Like, at some point, you just have to give him credit, right? He's going to keep doing this. And, like, my Purdy take, and this again, this ties in with this big video that I've been teasing for a while, and it's coming. I was working on a little bit earlier today, right? If you want to say Brock Purdy's a system quarterback, that's fine. But who cares? The system is awesome. The system rules. The system works, right? If you're a 49ers fan, because I see a lot of 49ers fans like defending him and being like, well, maybe he should be top 10, top 5 QB. And yeah, like, I get it. You want your guy to get recognized. But at the same time, does it really matter if Brock Purdy is making like Stephen A. Smith's top 5 list? If there's like they've scored 30 plus every game this season, like, does it really matter? Like, either way, it's working. They're winning. They're the Super Bowl favorites. So, Pearchamp says, I would give MVP to CMC before Brock, though. I would probably have to agree. I think Christian McCaffrey is more valuable to this offense, which, shout out running backs, man, right? But even he's more than just a running back. He does so much in the receiving game, but so that might be tough too. I mean, McCaffrey might cancel him out a little bit. I don't know that there's a real clear MVP favorite right now, which it's still very early on in the season, but I don't know. We'll have to watch that one play out a little bit. I think we could be in for an interesting MVP race. Good scramble by Russell Wilson getting the first down right there. Good effort by Russ. He's still got some fight in him. Look at that. Probably get one more play off before the quarter ends. Caden says, I do be snarky. If you know, you know. Shout out Caden. One of the day ones. I gave Christine her shout out earlier for being the bedrock of this channel. Same with Caden. This man has done a lot behind the scenes and deserves a lot of credit. So shout out Caden. Here we go. Broncos going to try and get another chunk. There's Russ going again. Vintage Russ. Running Russ. All right. Flag is down. 5 seconds left. But yeah. Is there a reality where Purdy wins MVP? I mean, if the 49ers go undefeated, maybe. I don't know that they will, though. History is against them on that. And that's not a knock on this 49ers team, because out of all the great 49ers teams that we've seen under Kyle Shanahan, I think this one might be the best one. And that's saying something, because we've seen some great football teams, but this one might be the best. I mean, they have Javon Hargrave, for crying out loud. They added Javon Hargrave to their defense. It is ridiculous, man. Pearchamp says, I would say Josh Allen is my MVP favorite, but it's still up for debate. Can't argue with that. Even at 3-2, can't argue with that. He's played great football. Probably the biggest argument is he's like the 2 losses and the 1 loss he's looked bad in, but I mean, that's just in the rearview mirror at this point. Like, Josh Allen has been playing some of the best football of his career with that Jets game even counted. Like, you know, can't argue with that. Tua, you could make an argument for. You'd probably have a similar argument against Tua as you would with Purdy, maybe a little bit less pronounced, but, you know, a real dark horse, and this is going to be ironic coming from me, right? A real dark horse might be Justin Herbert if the Chargers can turn it around. They've been in close games. Now, this is a bit of a long shot because I'm not super high on this Chargers team, to be honest. But let's say the Chargers turn it around. They win 11 or 12 games and they make the playoffs and Herbert keeps playing the way he is. He'd be in the conversation. Justin Herbert might be playing the best football of his career right now. He's looked great. He really has. He's looked better. And that's saying something. He's been pretty good. Hurts is in the conversation, but if he didn't get it last year, is he going to get it this year? I don't know. And he's not been the greatest. Well, up to his standards of last year, I'll say. He's still been pretty good. Trevor Lawrence was my preseason pick, but again, just not quite the same level of consistency, not quite as dominant, the offense as a whole. I still think Trevor Lawrence has been playing excellent football, better than his stats would indicate. I mean, whoo, that throw to Calvin Ridley last week with the game on the line, the pressure coming, falling back a dot down the field. That's what I'm talking about. That is money right there. That's high-level quarterback play. But, so we've got some good names in the ring. And, of course, there's always Mahomes, right? I mean, there's always Mahomes. I feel bad for him in the playoffs when they lost Purdy, so I'm happy for them. Me too. I've shared this take many times, and I will share it again. I honestly believe the Niners would have won that game if Purdy stayed healthy. I honestly believe they would have gone to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. You know, the final score makes it look pretty bad. Watching that game, man, that 49ers defense kept him in for like 3 quarters. Like, just, they would get the ball back, and you think, man, if they score a touchdown, like, they're right back in it. And they just couldn't do it. I mean, they were hanging around for a long time in that game. It really took a while for the Eagles to kill off Josh Johnson. I honestly think they would have won that game if Purdy stayed healthy. But that was a long time ago. Wilson running around now. And he's not going to get the first. It looks like he didn't really lose anything. Good question from Caden asking, will Trey Lance ever get a shot? You know, I would have liked to see him last week. And I don't think he was active. I think that when they pulled Dak, again, disclaimer, I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Twins game. But I believe they put in Cooper Rush for Dak when it got out of hand. It's like, at that point, what are we doing? Like, why would you even trade for Trey Lance then? Like, at least give him mop-up duty. Like, I get if Dak gets hurt and you want to, like, stay afloat, maybe you trust Cooper Rush more because he's been in the building longer. But in a game like that, which literally means nothing and you're down by 32, why not give Trey Lance a shot? I don't know. Like, I would like to see him get another shot again. Maybe this is the North Dakota and me talking, but I really just feel like he never got a fair shake. Some of that is just injuries and tough luck. I don't blame the 49ers for moving on from him. But this is why I've started to really just argue towards, like, you know, just if you're going to draft a quarterback, play him right away. I see a lot of Vikings fans saying the best move is to bring back Kirk for one more year, but bring his replacement in. No, why? Why would we get a new QB and not play him? Give him that experience. Yeah, so what? Maybe he stinks year one. Like, Josh Allen stunk the first 2 years, and he's turned it around. And, like, also, like, I don't know, people thought Anthony Richardson was going to stink, and he's been pretty good. Bryce Young has been bad, but it's only 5 games into the year. I mean, you don't know what you have until you actually put him in game action. And what the Chiefs did with this man right here, passing the torch from Alex Smith to him, that's an exception. I really think that's a rare case. You just don't really see that now. And I would just much rather they get actual game experience. But here we go. Another question. Next question. What would be the best situation for him team-wise? Well, the 49ers. But that's not an answer, because they traded him. Honestly, and I'm not suggesting that this team should do this, right? I maybe have in the past. It didn't happen, and at this point, whatever. Trey Lance on the Vikings would be fun. There, I said it, right? Offensive head coach, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, good offensive line, back in his home state. In a vacuum, that would be one of the best spots for him, in my opinion. I don't know. Again, maybe that's just like Midwest pride talking in me. I genuinely think, like, if every team like lost their quarterback, but they kept everything else in play, and it's like, hey, where would you want to go? Minnesota, with the offensive infrastructure that they have, is up near the top. And I think that would be a solid spot for Trey Lance to go to. The organization, the fan base would be behind him. He'd have a help supporting cast. I don't know. Commanders is a good one. So we have another person in here, I think. Kalen, is that how you say his name? Welcome to the stream, Kalen. Commanders would be a fun one, though. Or the Falcons. Get rid of Ritter. Yeah, I could see that totally, right? Trey Lanta, baby. You know, there were some rumors they were going to draft him. Honestly, I could totally get down with Trey Lance on the Falcons. He'd fit that Arthur Smith offense really well. Arthur Smith wants a mobile quarterback that can run a little bit. They've got great weapons, a great offensive line. Honestly, Atlanta, I don't know. Oh, why didn't they go get him? I mean, they believe in Ritter, but also, and who knows, maybe Trey Lance is like at the level of Desmond Ritter, because it's not like Trey Lance looked great in the few games that he did play. Like, I'm full aware of that, but Commanders in Atlanta are some fun options, I will say. I don't know about the Jets, because Rodgers is apparently bent on coming back this year, but some good options. We have another question in here. I'm loving these questions. Who do you have winning next week, Seahawks or Bengals? I'm going to go with the Bengals. I don't know. Maybe I'm buying too much stock into how much better they looked. But, it's not like the Seahawks I say this, but they sacked Daniel Jones like 9 times on Monday Night Football. On paper, the Seahawks don't have a fearsome pass rush, but it's been pretty good. The wide receivers versus corners are going to be a really fun matchup. It's in Cincy. As my AirPods die, I'm going to take them out real quick. But initially, and again, I'll make my official picks here for the Sunday stream. Off the dome, though, I'm going to say Cincy wins. They get back to 500. And the Bengals defense has been pretty good for the most part this season. They've been playing at a fairly good level. Lou Anarumo, baby. Deep shot, and it's broken up. And it was Brandon Johnson, the intended receiver. No! My prize picks. Oh, I mean, it's not like it would have mattered. What, does Russ have like maybe 100 passing yards now? 57, not even close. Oh, he was looking for Brandon Johnson. That's an unbelievable play in coverage. He was with him step for step and broke it up. That's just a good play. Great coverage right there by the Chiefs. He was looking for Brandon Johnson. That was my moment. I could have maybe missed on this slip, but I would have gotten Brandon Johnson right. That's so tough. Flag on the punt return. Everyone sacks Daniel Jones. It's in the contract. Yeah, I mean, that Giants offensive line, you want to talk about one of the worst units in the league. Oh, my goodness gracious almighty. Whew, they've been bad. That has really been sinking this team, to be honest. It's been rough. Lance gets traded but never plays. Yeah, I know. It's a tough scene, man. He might be a what if. That's the nature of the business, though. I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. But Parachamp says, I've picked wrong for every Bengals game. Maybe I can get it right this time by picking the Bengals. There we go. Let's ride with the Bengals, baby. Welcome to the jungle. Roar. Oh, I love it. We'll see. I don't know. They've got a little bit of spice to them. But Chiefs defense is honestly nothing to sneeze at, is what I've learned in this game. I'm telling you, man. Chiefs defense is legit. If the Chiefs go back-to-back, give a lot of credit to that defense. I mean, let's take a look at this Chiefs defense. And a lot of these players I've shouted out, but it's just a well-built unit, and they've got one superstar in Chris Jones, and they've got maybe a player that I think deserves to get the superstar label soon. And if you've watched this channel, you know who I'm about to shout out. Trent McDuffie. He is a baller. He is awesome. He is so good, man. I got to watch him play live last week. He wasn't on Jefferson much in that game, but, man, talk about a physical, just sticky in coverage, right? I mean, man, zone, he can do either. L'Jarius Sneed had a heck of a game against Justin Jefferson, though, I will say. He was pretty physical, maybe a tad too physical for my liking, right? But he played one heck of a game against Justin Jefferson. Jefferson still beat him on some routes, right? Jefferson went 3 for 28. He got injured, obviously, so that hurt his stats a little bit. Jefferson still won his fair share of routes, but L'Jarius Sneed did an excellent job on him. He had the tough assignment, and he came to play. He's been a little up and down this season, but his overall body of work is pretty good. I mean, we seriously need to talk about these Chiefs corners. This is an excellent corner duo. And then you have Justin Reed at safety. I gave my Nick Bolton speech earlier, right? Big playmaker. Chris Jones, we all know about him. And George Karlaftis has been good too. And they're well coached. Steve Spagnuolo is a great defensive coordinator. This is a very, very good unit. And they've been playing at a high level, quite frankly, since like the second half of last season. One of the things that coincides with it is Trent McDuffie coming back from injury. I mean, look at, like, especially down the stretch, like they hold a good Seattle offense to 10. They had the close one versus Houston, but like, wait, am I reading this right? Yeah. Playoffs, they played pretty well. The Philly game, okay, but 20 against Cincy in the jungle, or was it an Arrowhead? I can't remember, but great performance. Held Jacksonville to 20, right? 17, 10. So this is a unit that's been playing pretty well for a minute now, and I'm glad to see they're finally getting some recognition. Chiefs defense is good. Clock is ticking down now. They might pitch a shutout. They genuinely might shut out the Broncos. Oh, boy. I do feel bad for Broncos fans. At least you have your first round pick this year, right? I think so. I genuinely hope they do. Like, I don't think they traded that one also as part of the Russ deal. But, I mean, what do you do? There's Pacheco on a little dump off. What do you do? Not a good spot to be in as an organization. Oh, we've got 2 Chainz and Metro Boomin tonight after the game. Okay. Can get down with that. I don't know. I've never watched like the music performances after the game. I think it's a cool idea. It's something different, right? Pacheco, 6 catches tonight. What? That's crazy. Is that a career high? Maybe. Let's look that up. Gets tackled for a loss there. This is some real analysis right here. What's Isaiah Pacheco's career high in catches? I don't know. He's usually, I mean, last year's McKinnon was the receiving back, right? Well, it's a season high. He had 4 week 1 against the Lions. It's got to be a career high, right? He had 5 catches against the Bengals in the playoffs. Yeah, that is a career high for Isaiah Pacheco catches. We have witnessed history, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. I bet you. I wonder if I was the first person to point that out. Oh, he missed Watson. Oh, is he hurt? Yeah. That doesn't look good. Oh, boy. He was looking for him deep. He won the route. Just, off his hands. Yeah, it was right there, man. Oh, tough drop, and then you get injured. Hopefully he's okay. Oh, he landed awkwardly. Never like to see that. Well, they're going to go to commercial while he gets taken a look at. But, yeah, I mean, they weren't saying it on the broadcast. I mean, why would they, I guess? But I wonder, I'm going to give myself credit for being the first person to point out that Isaiah Pacheco set a career high in receptions. Or maybe they did say it on the broadcast and I missed it. But I'm going to give myself credit for that. I earned it. Breaking news from the doctor. But, it'll be nice. These teams will get their quasi-bye week, as I always like to say. Here's a weird stat, Caden, if you're still in here. And Pear Champ, too. I've got a fun Packers stat. The Packers are going to go almost an entire month without playing a game on Sunday. Let's pull this up and walk through this here. The Packers' schedule is pretty interesting in how it was structured. But yeah, the Packers are going to go almost an entire month. I believe it's 2 days short of an entire month without playing an NFL game on Sunday. So, right, They played Thursday night versus the Lions. That was back on September 28th. Then they had the Monday night game against the Raiders just this past Monday. Then they have their bye. And okay, so it's not quite 2 days short of a month. But then it's not until Sunday, October 22nd that they play again on Sunday. That's crazy. LFG says wild college football game just ended. What was going on today? I suppose it's Thursday, so there's some college football going on. I'm definitely not as tapped into that space, but I'm curious. I'll probably go check in a second here, but good college football game, huh? That's good to see there's some good football on tonight, but nah, I kid. You know what, I'll say this. Any chance we get to watch the NFL, we have to appreciate, because I tell you what, man, we might be watching this right now. We're like, 16-0. The Broncos are getting shut out. It's not even like the Chiefs offense is playing well. Like, blah, 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 boring game, right? Primetime bad. I tell you what, though, remember this, like when we're in like May and June and we're just like starving for football. We're like, please, I would give anything to watch Chiefs Broncos 16-0. So remember that, because we will miss this, as sick as it might sound. But yeah, the Packers don't play on Sunday for a minute. Yeah. They'll have played one game between September 28th and October 22nd. That's crazy. I wonder if they like that. Oh, there goes McKinnon. Flag is down, so it's probably coming back. He's going to get run down by Surtain there, but big run by McKinnon. Or was that a catch, technically? I feel like it's not going to stand, though. But who knows? A lot of people in the sports world recently have been saying that rest is a bad thing. So, oh, that was a bit of a cheap shot. If you know, you know. I'm not talking about football. But flag is down. We'll see what it is here. But let's check out this college football game. What games have been going on today? So we've got SMU, ECU. Oh, was it Houston, West Virginia? I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. A bit of a barn burner. I'm going to be honest, I could not name a single player on either team. But you know what? Looks like it was a fun game. I will say, good college football games are awesome. They're a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you get a lot of clunkers in there as well. But good college football rules, I will say. It's football, right? The atmospheres are better. Like, I have no problem saying college atmosphere is better than NFL. Absolutely. Without question. But NFL has always been my cup of tea. But to each their own. I respect college football. Oh, we stepped out too. Yeah, that's not wouldn't have standed either way, but some boo birds. I mean, I don't know. I think you guys are fine, Chiefs fans. Excuse me. Yeah. Not trying to alienate any Chiefs fans, but water, man, it's different. Well, now it's 3rd and 17. What can Kansas City do here? They're just going to dump it off to Rice. Oh, Rice almost got it. So, you got to punt it, right? I don't know. Why would you even give this sputtering offense good field position? Just punt it. As nice as it might be to like keep the clock rolling. You just punt it away, force their hand. Going to be probably close to 9 minutes when Denver gets the ball back. There's a short punt there. It's returnable. All right, decent field position either way. If you're Denver, you have to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion on this drive, or it's over. That's really all there is to it. Someone's got to make a play. Who's it going to be? Look at these Chiefs corners. Joshua Williams making some plays. Frustrating these receivers. It's tough out there. All right. Well, I mean, what do you draw up if you're Sean Payton? You haven't really seen any of the deep balls yet, but it hasn't really been there, I'm assuming. Play action. Here comes a deeper shot. Oh, he's got a man open. Cortland Sutton. All right. We're going to talk ourselves into this being a game. Here we go. Cortland Sutton finds a space in the defense. That clock keeps on ticking, but that's a big chunk play. You know, Denver's defense has been fighting. I mean, what's the win probability right now? Probably like 97-3, right? Let's take a look. It's got to be somewhere around that. Let's see what ESPN has. 97.5 for the Chiefs. Yeah. If the Broncos were to score a touchdown here, does that drop to 88? I don't know. Maybe. Good old win probability charts. Those are always fun to look at if there's like a big swing. Whee! It's like a roller coaster. All right. I'm rooting for Denver to claw their way back into this one. Let's see something crazy. Russ gonna juke out Chris Jones, and he's gonna get the first down. Let's ride. All right. Here I am, wearing my Chiefs jersey, cheering against the Chiefs. Let's go. Let's go. Be agents of chaos, Denver. Bring chaos to my television screen. Look at that little move by Russ. Just threw him off enough. Gets hit at the end. I mean, he's still in bounds. All right. They're getting close to the red zone, which has been a haunted house for both teams. They're going to run it. Chris Jones was there. Oh, what a good player. He looks so sick with like that brace on his leg. Looks like a cyborg. Let's watch this rep. Oh, yeah. It was not even close. You know, the Vikings offensive line held up decently well against Chris Jones. He still made a few plays, but, I mean, it's Chris Jones. You take what you can get. I've now had the pleasure of seeing Chris Jones and Aaron Donald play live in front of my own eyes. Caden says 11 more yards, Sutton. It might happen. It'd need to happen pretty suddenly. That was terrible. But, man, I will say, the Aaron Donald game I'm referring to is Vikings versus Rams on Boxing Day 2021. It was one of the last games of the Mike Zimmer era. The Vikings lost that game, and it mathematically eliminated them from the playoffs, I believe. Or maybe it didn't. I think it did. No, it didn't. It was the Packers game next week, I think. But, oh my goodness, Aaron Donald. Also, he's going to Judy, and he didn't quite hook up with him. And guess who was there in coverage? Oh, there's a flag down. Uh-oh. Roughing the passer. Oh. Oh, no. First down, Broncos. Let's see this call. Oh, I never like those calls. Now, by the book, that's something that they usually call at this point. If the quarterback leaves its feet, they don't want him being slammed into the ground, and I get it, player safety. But also, what is he supposed to do there? It's tough. It's tough. I get you want to protect players. I'm all for player safety, right? I'm not saying we should go out spearing players, but that's just a tough call. But the Broncos have life. Here we go. Clock stops, too. Russ is going to take a shot for Sutton. Oh! Incomplete. Oh, no. He wants a review. Did he one-hand that? That would have been your 11 yards right there, Caden. Would it have not been? Oh, my goodness. 1, 2. Oh. The ball moves. Hold on. Watch. The ball moves again right there when he grabs it with his second hand. They're saying it's a touchdown. Well, the not the actual referees, but like the rules analysis, the rules analyst says it should be a touchdown. Cuz he clearly gets both feet down, right? Sean Payton's challenging it. He clearly gets both feet down. I think the only way they'd overturn it is like when he puts his hands, like, does the ball move? I agree with you, Pear Champ. I think that should be a touchdown. I think they probably will call it a touchdown, but at this point, there's just so many wrinkles to the rule of what is a catch. I don't know. And since the ruling on the field was incomplete, I could see a reality where they just stick with that call. I think that might be a touchdown, though. Oh, man. How much are the Chiefs paying the refs? That narrative will start up if they don't overturn this. Oh, man. What a catch by Cortland Sutton, though. Would that have been 11 yards? I think it would have, right? Would that have been 11 yards? It was from the Kansas City 11. Caden, if that stands, you get your 11 yards. Oh, my goodness. Right? So what was the line at? He's at 35 yards. If the catch counts, he goes to 46. Would that be enough for you, Caden? If this counts as a touchdown, I think you hit your bet. That's crazy. And all of a sudden, then we've got a game again. We've got a one-score game here with like 6 minutes remaining, if that stands. Oh, man. Yeah, okay. So, oh, man. He's going to hit it by half a yard if that counts. So you're saying there's a chance. Man, oh, man, oh, man. All right. Well, let's see. Touchdown! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown! We've got a game! We've got a game! Oh, what a catch by Cortland Sutton. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Buckle up. Get ready for some chaos ball. Let's go. Congratulations for Caden. Yeah, let's get a let's go Caden in the chat. Let's go. For the first time ever, Dr. Pigskin has said something in the chat. And they get the 2-point conversion as well. We've got a game. Broncos country, let's ride. Okay, technically I need 6 more yards from Mahomes. He better not sell. Also, I got a notification that the Wild won. Let's go Wild. I occasionally indulge in hockey. Not as much as you might think for someone from North Dakota, but I support all the Minnesota teams. 2-0 over the Panthers. Hockey. Yeah. But yeah, all right. So we've got a game. Mahomes needs 6 more yards for Caden. And the vibes are good right now. You know, this is also random. Another reason for good vibes. Thursday nights are kind of like my Friday nights because I don't have class on Friday. So I'm chilling. Like, I don't have to get up early for class tomorrow. Life is good, man. I'm loving these Thursday night streams. I'm hoping I can get back to doing these more consistently. It's been tough with work. I mean, it's been a busy season for work. We've got like tournaments for high school volleyball starting up. High school softball, their regular season is ending. Tournaments are going to be starting up. Obviously, we've got football too. But it's been fun. There's another Taylor Swift sighting. I've lost count. I want to say it's like 4. All right. Can Mahomes get the 6 yards right here? Nope. But he's going to get a few to Kelsey. Gabe says, why don't we rewrite the stars? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Kelsey's hobbling off a little bit. Oh, man. This Chiefs team really cannot afford to lose him again. Oh, is it the ankle too? It's the one that's taped up. Oh, you hate to see that. Noah Gray is out there now. I mean, to be fair, Noah Gray is out there a lot, but that's tough. Mahomes. Oh, the nice little fake. He might have had Pacheco there. Could have padded his career high, but he'll get a few yards instead. But here we go. 3rd down already. The Broncos have all 3 timeouts. What if Denver gets a stop here? Oh, Kelsey's back. That's good to see. 9 for 124. He is doing his thing per usual. 3rd and 2. Big play right here. Chiefs tried to get to the line quickly. 3rd and 2. Oh, there's Rashee Rice breaking free up to the 40 of Denver. 1st down and a whole lot more. Just when they needed it most, a big play through the air. Man. Well, Rice, hey, I don't know if you played him today, but Caden, you were right about liking Rashee Rice. Hey, low-key, Rashee Rice, wide receiver 1. Ooh, Justin Ross is out there now, too. Good for him. Good story. What a monster in college. The fact that he's even playing in the NFL is incredible. Man, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt in college, oh boy. Do yourself a favor. If you're not familiar with Justin Ross's game, go look up Justin Ross Clemson highlights when you're done watching this game and enjoy the show. He and Trevor were deadly. Chiefs have the 2nd highest current Super Bowl odds with their showing. That seems fair. Pair Champ, you make a great point. Kelsey is bound to get hurt if he's the only offense the Chiefs have. Yeah. And, I mean, it's not only does he get high usage, right? Getting all these targets, getting all these catches, but he also has to block a lot in this offense. He takes a lot of hard hits. There's probably a lot of wear and tear on his body. I mean, think about how often Gronk got hurt, right? He's not quite the blocker Gronk was, but he still blocks a decent amount. He is a pretty good blocker. It's hard to stay healthy as a tight end. It really is. For all those hits you have to take, and on top of that, you have to be a good receiver. Take those hits over the middle, too. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's pretty impressive that Kelsey has been able to stay healthy and have the longevity that he has had. Under siege, under lockdown. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I'm jealous of you. Unfortunately, I know what Gabe is referencing there. Caden says, Wilson, Sutton, Rice, Kelsey, and Mahomes 5-way. That would have been one heck of a 5-way. Maybe I should have done that instead of Justin Watson and Brandon Johnson. Maybe. Pacheco. Good tackle. Is that Simmons behind the line of scrimmage? He could play the run a little bit too. He had a pick in this game. Good game from Justin Simmons. Love to see that. Oh, yeah, baby. Or sorry. Oh, yeah, baby. Anyways. But yeah, Justin Simmons is a good football player. I just broke the fourth wall there. Kind of. Oh, yeah, baby. I have too much fun with these sometimes. It's awesome, though. XD. So, instead of getting a big 3 and out, the Chiefs have now marched near the red zone and have probably more or less ended this game. Tony, not much doing there. Nice little designed run for him. Maybe you can call it a jet touch pass, but at least that's what Madden says. If you were to make a Mount Rushmore top 4 players of each main position, who would you put as your top QB, running back, wide receiver, and defensive player? Ooh, that's a fun one. Thank you for that question, Pear Champ. I like that. All right. So, I'm going to give my little spiel about like greatest and GOAT or whatever before we like fully jump in. I feel like it's something I just need to clarify, right? Because I'm one of those people that think there's a difference between best and greatest, kind of. Oh, also, maybe an important sack makes it a little bit harder of a field goal. I mean, I don't know. Butker drilled one earlier, right, from like 62. 2-minute warning. Let's tackle this question of yours, Pear Champ. But yeah, just a quick little spiel. Like, for example, right, I think that like Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time when you factor in his ability to play the position, his longevity, his legacy, like everything, like combining his career with his talents. You know, I think that's something to factor in because otherwise, like, you know, Tom Brady's not the most talented quarterback of all time, right? Like, Josh Allen is a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it explains itself. I just feel like I need to clarify that sometimes. I think that's a really big problem with NBA discourse. It's kind of a thing in the NFL too. But with that in mind, right, if I had to pick my pick for the greatest, each position, quarterback Tom Brady, I feel like that one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how much we really need to talk about it that much. I mean, he has more Super Bowl wins than any other franchise. And while I get like wins aren't a QB stat, maybe not, but also quarterbacks impact a team's winning more than any other position. So I think it's fair to at least have it as a factor. And I mean, I'm sorry. We might never see a resume like this ever again. And Mahomes, I don't know. Mahomes, I would say, is like more talented than Brady, absolutely. And Mahomes might give him a good run with the resume. And when it's all said and done, I think we could maybe have a fun debate between Mahomes and Brady, and that could be like the LeBron Jordan of the NFL. That's high praise for Patrick Mahomes, pretty much calling him the LeBron James of football, right? Brady is Jordan, Mahomes is LeBron. I think it's very possible, but as of right now, I mean, there's literally no hole that you can poke in calling him the greatest. One of the most disgusting narratives that I saw, and this was pretty popular amongst like people my age, like especially the latter half of his Patriots career, like these few years. And there's a certain Twitter troll that I'm not going to say his name because it sounds like it's an inappropriate phrase. Let's just call him Barry. But he started this whole Brady's a system QB thing, and it's like, I'm sorry, what system? Because Belichick is a defensive head coach. Brady had like 3 different offensive coordinators in New England. He played in 3 like drastically different offenses. Like he had like the vertical game with Randy Moss and like more of a game manager, run heavy defense early years, and then like just like dominating you with like a million paper cuts and short passes, being like the elite, quick, get the ball out quick at the end of his days with the Patriots. Also, Butker drilled it. That might be game. Good game from Harrison Butker. A make from 52 and a make from 62. Shout out Harrison Butker fantasy owners. But no, he's not a system QB. And I think, honestly, it was kind of satisfying to see him go to Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl in his first season and have like two of the best seasons of his career outside of New England at ages like 43 and 44. So I don't know. That's pretty easy for me. Tom Brady. Running back, I'm going to take it back a little bit. I'm going to go Jim Brown, baby. Jim Brown on the Mount Rushmore for running back. I mean, he didn't have the longest career, but goodness gracious almighty. If you want to talk about dominance relative to era, the bold means he led the league. So in all but one of his seasons, he led the NFL in rushing. He also led the NFL in touchdowns 5 times. MVP, I mean, and then second, third. I mean, he retired the all-time leading rusher. And I mean, he kind of pulled a Barry Sanders where he retired at the top. He retired to go act. He could have probably had even better stats. And I get like it's a different era. People might be like, well, the competition wasn't as good. I've never liked the whole playing against plumbers take. I mean, I guess you can like kind of argue that. But then again, like, no, he's just so much more dominant than everyone else back then. Like, it's not his fault. He was better than everyone else. So when you factor in just again, I obviously never had the privilege of watching him live, but I've like, you know, I watch a lot of NFL films. Like I've watched my fair share of Jim Brown highlights. When you factor in just how much more physically dominant he was than everyone else, and it just shows in his stats. And this was really back when it was franchise running backs, not franchise quarterbacks. I mean, he was this Browns team. I mean, you could argue Barry Sanders or Walter Payton, right? I think those would be my other 2 picks. I have no issue if you want to make a case for them, absolutely. But I'm going to go Jim Brown. I'm going to go Jim Brown myself. Wide receiver, I am going to go Jerry Rice. I'm not going to overthink it that much. But, and this might be a video I do one day because this player just fascinates me and I really want to tell his story as the ball comes out. And the Chiefs get it. And so that just ends it even more. But I want to give a quick shout out to Don Hutson. I've talked about Don Hutson some on Twitter. Some of you that know me closer might know my fascination with him. Again, the bold means you lead the league in it, and I genuinely think I might make a video about Don Hutson at some point because, again, some of these numbers might not look like much. No, this is insane for the era that he played in. He was the first true superstar wide receiver. 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns in 1942 is ridiculous. In 11 games. So, that being said, I will go Jerry Rice because, I mean, you could argue Jerry Rice is the greatest NFL player ever. I mean, He has like Wayne Gretzky level dominance over the rest of the field. All-time leader in receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns. He was so good for so long on so many dominant teams. And it's again, he's not even a guy who's like the most talented receiver. But man, oh man, oh man, no one worked harder. This dude worked his tail off. A complete technician. Unbelievable outrunner. And like still, it's not even like, oh, he was like slow or anything. So I think Jerry Rice being the greatest wide receiver of all time is not a crazy take. And then to wrap it up for the defensive player, a guy that I, again, did not have the privilege of watching, but I've watched him online, right? I'm familiar with his game. A guy that I argue might be the greatest football player ever. Lawrence Taylor. Not just because of how dominant or productive he was, not just because he was one of 2 defensive players to ever win MVP, right? I mean, that's just crazy. And he's won a Super Bowl with 2 Super Bowls with the Giants where he pretty much led them, right? But he just absolutely changed the game as being a rushing the passer as a linebacker. He revolutionized the game. I mean, this is all just ridiculous. He pretty much came in sort of like Micah Parsons, where he was a bit more of an off-ball linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. I could be terribly wrong, but I feel like just reading up, I feel like he played that role a little bit more in college. And then eventually the Giants kind of figured out, oh my gosh, let's just have this guy rush the passer. And he still, played that off-ball linebacker position at a very high level. I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year his rookie year, for crying out loud. Unbelievable player. And if you just listen to the way that people that have played with him or coached him talk about him, again, you could make some good arguments. You could even make an argument for a guy playing right now in Aaron Donald. But I'm gonna go Lawrence Taylor. But that was a fun little one, Mount Rushmore. But yeah, Brady, Jim Brown, Jerry Rice, Lawrence Taylor. That's my personal Mount Rushmore. You could make a compelling argument for Aaron Donald, though. That's a player I have had the pleasure of seeing live. And when I watched the Vikings-Rams game back in 2021, I mean, there was literally plays where I would just stare at Donald because I just wanted to see him work, and he eviscerated us that game. He is 50 to 60% of the reason why we lost that game. Let's pull up his stats real quick. I won't drone on too long, but no, even though it was against my team, I was very appreciative of the fact that I kind of got to watch history there. I got to see probably one of the 5 greatest defensive players ever. 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. I wonder what his pressure numbers and his win rate were, though, because he was just having his way with the offensive line. I swear, he was in the backfield every play. But that was a fun question. Thanks for that, Pear Champ. That's my Mount Rushmore. That was a fun little exercise. But meanwhile, while all that happened, the game is over. The Chiefs kind of kneeled out the clock, so I think that's going to be all for me today. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. It was a fun time, as always, watching football, talking ball. It's good to be back. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and yeah, man. I plan to be back again on Sunday and then maybe even Monday, so get used to seeing this face a little bit more back on your screen. But once again, thank you guys all for watching. Appreciate you all. Love you guys. Good football. We've got more football coming up. I'll see you guys on Sunday. But with that, the doctor's out. Y'all have a great